Yeah, we designated spitters live every week. Live, designated homie, cause we spit heat. We designated spitters, Francis and Pete. Yes, talking Yankee baseball, hip hop for the streets. Yup, we designated. Yup, we innovative. Yup, we designated. Spitters time that you know. Yup, we designated. Yup, we innovative. Yup, we designated. Spitters, let's start the show.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? It is us, the one, the only designated spitters. I almost wanted to start the show with the Italian. But I decided. I got a little hand. The greatest thing they ever did was create the hand emoji. You see it so much now. It's so much fun. It is so much fun.
They created it just in time for what the Yankees were going to do this year.
Just in time for the Italian Yankee revamp. And we are seeing what these fellas are doing right now, man. It's funny because we're like in a different mindset now going into these podcasts, aren't we? There was times when I'm like, I got so much to be angry about in this one, let's do a little. We're gonna probably be ranting in this one. Right now, it's kind of feel like my feet are up a little bit, man.
Today, I was gonna we start right from the jump, just so you guys know. Today's gonna be a nice, fun, light podcast.
Oh, fam got the smack and cracking on.
Oh, yes, sir. Hell yeah.
Oh, I got the smacking cracking.
I had to bring Gary back on since he got off the COVID list. Why not?
Hey, Gary fam. Gary fam. Smacking cracking, folks.
You know
got that one. You know, NYY.news/shop. Go check them out.
Have you guys bought your T-shirts? My boy just hit me up the other day. He bought a couple T-shirts. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. Support the brand.
Yeah.
Support the brand, baby. He was like, I got like 3 or 4. I was like, yeah. I think 3. Or whatever. I was like,
it's actually, to be honest, since the podcast has started, there's definitely been more orders in the way for Team NYY News, no doubt about it. I was showing my son the other day. If you guys haven't seen this one yet, I haven't shared it, so I should definitely share it out there a little bit. We dropped the Knights at the Round Table shirt. That thing is dope. That thing's stupid. I like it.
Oh yeah, I need that.
I like it. I'm getting that one. I'm getting that one.
Like, I
gotta get the new Gallo shirt.
I have to share it out too. I didn't share it.
I'm gonna drop that one, and I'm gonna drop that myself today because I didn't. Of course, you got the designated Spittaz tees. We got 2 different styles. We got the artwork one, and then just the regular John. So
yeah.
So we got them all.
I'm surprised I haven't got the shirt with my own face on it. I'm really bugging out.
I mean, you were the one saying, "Look, Mama, I made it," and now you got it.
I'm really tripping. I am really tripping. Now I'm slacking. But you know what it is? I'm
Unreal.
tell you right now, is that we've been working so hard.
We have been. You
know what I mean? I haven't even had time to think about, I got smacking cracking. I had this for, I had to throw this on because I had it.
You are the creator, by the way, the great Don Giovanni tee.
The Don Giovanni tee.
I'm telling you, I saw that shirt the other day. I was actually looking through the site and all that, and I looked at it in plain white with like the black rim and then the Don Giovanni written on the bottom. Beautiful work.
It's a nice shirt.
It's a nice shirt. It's a piece of art.
Yeah, man.
It's a damn piece of art.
Look, and back then we had no idea the Yankees were gonna go full,
No, we had no clue.
Full Paisan, but they did. So now
that's right. That's right, Don. We got the Don coming back.
It fits so much better. Like when he comes back, I just can't wait.
It just works well because now hey, he got the status Don Giovanni.
Oh yeah,
it is what it is. It is what it is. Don G.
I cannot wait for Gio to come back off the IL. I could have waited a little bit longer for Chapman, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah, we're definitely going to talk a little about Chat because we definitely got some highlights of the sweep coming up. But first, guys, we got a special guest today, and one that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed this interview so much. Man, my man Hubs. Eric Hubs.
You know him. You love him.
You guys know him. You guys definitely love him. Eric Hubs of Barstool, of course, joined us for an interview. It was really terrific. And before I jump out and throw some spoilers out there, let's just cut to the damn chase. Here is our interview with Eric Hubs of Barstool. Check it out. What is up, everybody? The designated Spittaz here with our guest today. I just say Hubs. Is that good? Is that fine? Can I do that? Can I just say Hubs?
Yeah, that plays perfectly. What's going on?
I was going to say, is it Hubs? Please say the Barstool.
No, you're good. I've been called Hubs since like 4th grade Little League, I want to say. 5th grade Little League. So, yeah, that's been – only my mom will call me Eric. That's really it.
Oh, I feel you.
Okay,
I feel you
okay.
on that. That's like me. France, remember I was telling you that my middle name, everybody calls me Anthony, but Pete is
Mhm.
usually I guess
Yeah.
easy. I don't know. Whatever it
For
is.
sure.
Whatever it is. So Hubs, we are in the ending now, gearing up towards the ending of a Yankee season that has been quite the roller coaster. It's been an up and down, fun ride, sad ride, angry ride, whatever you want to call it, right? We got some more bad news on the injury front that I want to start off with, because while we were looking at the season headed forward, there's so many different scenarios that Luis Severino could have played moving forward. Whether it was in the rotation, maybe the Yankees use him as late relief, or whatever it could have been. But now it looks like, we don't have a diagnosis yet, but we know something is bothering Severino. We got a month and a half of the season left. I'm kind of confident of saying he probably doesn't pitch this year. What is your mindset at with Severino?
Yeah, they said we'll know more tonight. We're talking a little earlier in the week when your podcast comes out. But yeah, if you're expecting anything short of the worst right now, I feel like you're being an eternal optimist. Like, all the signs point to this being horrible. It sucks too, because he's one start away from, like, if he just got through that start, he's here pitching probably against the Twins, whether it's Thursday or Friday.
Right.
And unfortunately, it's just not the case. It seems to be his shoulder, a little shoulder stiffness. I think they said the AAA manager wasn't concerned, but all the quotes coming out on Monday were not good, and they're all seeming to point to the worst. And they don't have any more information. We'll find out after he talks to doctors. Anytime you're like talking to doctors, you don't know right away. That to me is like a very bad sign.
Yes,
so
agreed.
With a month and a half to go here, where he really needed, if he's going to help this team, contribute to this team into the postseason, God willing they get there, he was going to have to pretty much come to them in the next couple of weeks to, get in the groove and all that. And, he was going to get, he wasn't going to come in and be like Sevy all of a sudden. Yep. You never are off Tommy John. So especially not in the first month, it usually takes like 6 months. So yeah, I would close the book on 2021 for Sevy, which is brutal. And then we look to 2022, which is not something I want to do. And it sucks, but luckily there's been guys stepping up in this rotation that I didn't think would necessarily to these roles. And I think we were going to have to lie heavily on, like, we really need Sevy back in July or August to really have a chance here. But J-Mo's taken a huge step up and he stayed healthy. Montgomery coming off COVID now, but he's been excellent this year. Clark Schmidt is like basically an outing away from helping this team.
The real king of New York, Cortez.
Yeah. The
real king of New York.
Yeah. Nestor's been nothing short of spectacular for this team. What he did against the White Sox on Sunday was brilliant. And yeah, so like those guys are stepping up, and obviously with Garrett Cole, he's got to get his act together too, coming off of COVID here. But they've allowed it to, like, okay, this would have been really nice, especially like on top of everything, but it's not going to happen. Let's just move forward and close the book here. I don't expect them back.
Right.
Yeah. When you see, I was joking with someone this morning, because you got to make light of these situations with the amount of them that happen when you're a Yankees fan recently. And I was like, when you see, one of these Spanish players start putting up the Bible quotes and things, like, it's not looking good.
It's a bad sign.
He put up one of the Psalms this morning, and I was just like, yeah, it's
when
the
you're
prayers
asking,
have begun.
When you're asking God upstairs for some help, that it's just
for
not
the pitching
going
shoulder.
well.
That's trouble.
I must have missed it. Sevy did that?
Yeah, Sevy posted it this morning. One of the songs.
I didn't know that either.
I did not catch that. That's bad news bears. Just don't need that. We don't need that.
But I liked what you brought up, with the other guys in the rotation. So that leads me to one of my questions for you. What's been the biggest surprise for you in regard to our rotation this season, right? You mentioned Nestor already. We spoke about Montgomery's year a little bit.
Yeah.
Hill coming up, like Tyone.
Yep.
Like, who's been what's been the biggest surprise?
I mean, it has to be Nestor, because he literally wasn't on the team to start. He just wasn't there. So, like, I didn't have Nestor in my plans for 2020. I knew J-Mo was going to be on the team. Now, did I expect J-Mo to possibly hit 150 innings by himself if he finishes out the year? No, this has been unbelievable. And we've had him on the podcast. He's an awesome fella with a great mindset. And my rule, if Garrett Cole vouches for you, I will back you. I don't care. I think that I trust that guy over many people in my life. So many close people in my life. So I'm not overly surprised that, like, because when he was with Pittsburgh, Tyone was pitching very well. He just really couldn't stay on the field. And the cancer issue and the 2 Tommy Johns. Poor guy's been through a lot, but he's had a hell of a mentality to get back to this point. So I'm not completely blindsided by JMO figuring this out, although off 2 Tommy Johns, it's difficult. But Nestor Cortes doing what he's done and just baffling lineups left and right, being the calming presence ever since Kluber really went down for the last 2 months. That guy has been in this rotation and been so good. And even never mind Nestor contributing. How about Nestor going down with COVID and be like, damn it, we lost. What are we going to do without Nestor? People were saying that. Imagine saying it to yourself in March, be like, you're going to question, how do we replace Nestor's innings right now for these next couple of weeks? When does he come back? That's the impact he's got. So, I mean, Nestor, heads and shoulders, has been everything for this team, keeping them afloat. One of the main cogs of why they still are in the playoff hunt.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you an unfair question. I'm sorry, Pete.
No, please go.
But I'm going to ask you an unfair question. Luke Voigt had comments the other day that I really liked, saying that, he thinks Nestor's just figured it out. Finally, he's like, he's figured it out.
He's only 26 years old.
Yeah, he's not. I was just going to say that he's not old.
Bro, he's not like a 34-year-old vet who's been around the block. People say, lefties figure this out. Crafty lefties, not to cut you off, but crafty lefties figure it out kind of around this time. The guy it's so much fun to watch. Because you just watch Garrett Cole. And not to say Garrett Cole is not a pitch. He knows how to pitch. But he will just blow you away with the 100-mile-an-hour fastball, come in with the ridiculous slider, the changeup. He's got it all. Pitchers would kill their closest family members to have his arsenal. Right. But then you see Nestor Cortes. He's got none of that. But he's just going to figure it out. He's going to throw you a pitch 15 different ways. He's going to throw off all your time. You can't really run on him either, as he's a lefty, and you don't know when he's ever going to pitch the ball. And he just
when he lifts his leg, you don't know what the hell he's going to do with it. So
you have no idea what's going to happen. And the quick pitching yesterday was beautiful. I mean, God damn, he's just a marvel to watch. He really is. He's an awesome personality as well. Oh yeah, so humble in the way he talks in these Zooms and all that. There's just nothing not to like about him, and I'm very, very excited he's part of his team. And honestly, he's a part of his team in the future after this. If he's 26 years old pitching like this, you can't let that guy go anywhere.
Yeah, heck no.
That's one of the crazy things, though, because when most Yankee fans, and I see this by just, fans posting projections or even people that come on here, I think Dan Federico actually had kind of the same opinion as you had, that he's, you can't take this guy at this rotation. But a lot of times you see fans talking about it. It's kind of like they just think well, Nestor's just this little fluke, right? He's not gonna, this can't keep going. But like you said, you're right. Nestor's not some guy that's just been a 34-year-old journeyman that we're just throw him in there and see what happens. Nestor's actually established himself right now. This is going on for a while. This is the majority of the season. He's been pitching very well for this club. Like you said, coming off of COVID, he came back and he's still doing fine.
This is a couple years ago, man, when he was in his first stint with the Yankees. We were talking on the pod last night. Tommy was going back because Tommy was obsessed with him. And I wasn't on that boat yet. It was more of then it was all right, this is kind of a fluke. Now he's doing it again. It's okay, he's just a really good pitcher here. But when he was doing back in 2019, it was Nestor, this man, and then they let him go and he goes to Seattle, and that was devastating. But yet you go 6 innings, 1 run with a career high in pitches and strikeouts to the Chicago White Sox, who got Tim Anderson, Eloy, Jose Abreu, Rob, they just
also beat up left-handed pitching.
They mash lefties, them, and he just befuddled them. That's real. That's just real. You can't get through that lineup in 6 innings accidentally. Just doesn't happen that way.
100%. Yeah. So switching up real quickly on from the rotation to the bullpen, because I think this is a serious need for the Yankees. Forget Severino coming back. Well, we'll just take that out the way and not even think about that. They may have a chance to potentially move a starter to the pen. Maybe a Domingo Germán at the moment might make the most sense as maybe a late inning guy that could help. Britton, goes to Boone, says, Booney, look, I can't do this no more. I'm not ready yet to be in these type of positions. Boone kind of said, to hell with that. Let me try it again. But anyway, we'll get to Booney, please.
Yeah.
But what do you see going forward? I mean, does somebody step up? Does somebody go to that role? I mean, they still have Lowe. They still have Chapman coming back. They still have Green. But do you think that maybe there's a possibility that a guy like a Germán could end up in that back end role?
Germán gives me the heebie-jeebies. I'll never trust him. His fastball is so hittable, and he just leaves it over the plate. I don't even like him starting. If he stays hurt, fine. A guy who I think could not that I'm wishing injury. I just just stay in the minors. Like, I don't want to deal with you. I never trust him. But a guy who I really think who has not made an impact at all this year and is on the verge of coming back, like I mentioned earlier, is Clark Schmidt. And I think Clark he's being rehabbed at the moment like a starter, but I don't see them asking him to be a starter when he gets here, and I think he will get here. I think he could form into that role that Loaisiga was formerly in, of that like 2-inning weapon type deal. I think you could see him. He's got all the stuff to do that. He's willing to work in that role. You saw it briefly last year when he came up, but he was kind of just his whole debut was a mess in general. He didn't even know when he was going to pitch. What they did with Baltimore was terrible, but he has all the stuff to be very, very, very good. He has the mentality to be good. He's healthy again. I was talking the other day, he feels great. So I'm excited. I think he's got one more appearance out there, and I think they're going to reassess what's going on. And with Sevy having these complications, I think that moves him further up the line of like, yeah, we could really, like, if Sevy comes up and deals with that, it's like, all right, do we really need Clark here? And they would call him up, but they wouldn't use him like they now with Sevy kind of out of the picture. It's like, okay, Clark Schmidt, we're going to need you right now, especially where Chad Green can't really trust him. Zach Britton, bottom of the totem pole right now. Right. Really only trusting here Loaisiga. And after that, yeah, I mean, I love Steven Roddings. I give him the ball as well. Albert Abreu has proven himself lately. I can give him the ball. Even Wandy Peralta has been like fairly reliable.
Yeah, I've seen Wandy now. I've seen him. Now I've seen him.
And Rodriguez has actually been pretty solid since he's come over in the Gallo trade as well. That's really it. Like coming like to the people, Litke has been very shaky lately. Let's say that. But for most of the year, he was excellent. So maybe it's just a blip. Let's hope it's just a blip. He hasn't pitched in 6 years, so maybe the workload's getting to him. But there's not many guys out there that I can really trust. Like, hey, it's the 7th inning. We can't use Johnny Loaisiga for a few innings here. We need to get to him. How are we getting there? I don't know if I have that like name in my head. Like, yep, this is how we do the 7th. This is how we do the 8th. Now, Chapman coming back would be really nice. I know like people were like casting him off a little bit and thinking he'd never throw a strike again, but they're going to need Chapman for sure, especially with Britton going through these mental issues, because it's a doozy what he's going through, and Boone keeps trusting for no reason.
Now, when Chappie does come back, right, I think one of the bigger questions is going to be like, do you start like putting him in those positions right away, like we saw kind of happen with Britton, or is the management going to be smart enough to kind of like work him back to where he's pitching in that 1-run game in the 9th inning? What do you think happens?
I think probably the next week or week and a half probably will build out that plan, because if Loaisiga is comfortable these next 10 days, like just closing people out left and right, he should be like, it shouldn't be Green and Loaisiga in my mind. It should be Loaisiga's your closer. Like he said he wants to be the closer, make him the closer. Don't do this, platoon with Green. Just don't trust him in the 9th inning in a safe situation right now. And when Chapman comes back, if Loaisiga's comfortable, ease him in the 8th inning, no problem. And then with those two guys, you can go alternating like you kind of want to do with Green right now. But I wouldn't mess with Loaisiga right now. If the 9th inning is open for him, give it to him. We said in the podcast, we've anointed. He's my closer for the future. Like I see this, he has such filthy potential, and and really like there's not many relievers out there who have that closer killer mentality. It does seem like he has it, and like that's something you almost can't teach. Is like to be that calm killer in the 9th inning. Seems to be that way with him, which I love.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. He just has that mentality. There's ice in his veins. Nothing really bothers him. He goes out there, he attacks guys and puts them away. Now, speaking of the man in charge here who puts these guys in, Aaron Boone, I got to talk about this because it's obviously kind of been all over my Twitter for a long time. I'm obviously not a fan of Aaron Boone anymore. I gave him all the credit in the world the first year. But I have a real trouble here. And I know a lot of people want to, say, well, he's not really the one doing these moves and this and that. Okay. I have a real problem with this mindset that Boone has had all year, where it feels like he believes the Yankees are up by 10 games and they're not. And it's like, for an example, Field of Dreams game with Zach Britton. He admits after the game, well, we know he's close. He's not ready. So that's the guy you would put in that situation one. Then Britton obviously comes out and goes, I'm not ready for these situations yet. And he throws him right back out and has to pull him out the game again because Britton's telling him, I'm not ready for any of this. What is your overall assessment? What have you heard? Anything out there regarding Aaron Boone and how he's managed his club and the bullpen? Is there a misunderstanding with the players and him? Is there anything there where Boone is just not listening to the player? Because that's what it looks like when it comes to Britton.
Yeah, I think he wants to be everyone's best friend for sure. He doesn't want to piss off any players. He won't challenge anyone really. And the whole thing with Britton, trust your player. Like, just come on, man. Like trust what he's saying and listen to him. That's the job of the manager.
And it takes a lot of balls for a player to say that. Like, don't give me the ball right now.
Oh, completely. And I almost, we were talking about the pod of whether we like that he said that came out publicly.
Yeah.
It's kind of a bad look to like, hey, your guy's just lost all his confidence and he's saying it publicly. Like, that feels like a behind closed doors type of conversation that stays there. But nevertheless, it got out. I just don't understand if your guy tells you to don't pitch him there, don't pitch him there. Like, his confidence only got worse there. You got to use him right now in like the 6th inning of a game. Yep. You got to use him in the 6th inning, like a 4-run game. That's the perfect spot to use him or a 5-run game. The 7, you can't be bringing him in where it's 3 runs or less right now. You just can't. 4 runs or less, I don't even feel comfortable with him. So Boone's just, I don't know, man. I hated yesterday too with Loaizaga getting pulled because he comes in the 8th inning, gets the job done there. Then they don't bring him out for the 9th. Which, okay, so you're saying, okay, so you had him. He obviously the off day Friday. He didn't pitch on in the Field of Dreams game.
Right, correct.
So off day Friday. Saturday he throws, I think, 22 pitches, I want to say. Sunday he comes in for the 8th inning. You hesitate with the 9th inning, but why? Because no matter what, he's not available tonight. Again, he's not available Monday against the Angels. No matter what he does, he will not be pitching tonight. They won't pitch him 3 days in a row. So to me, that 8th inning was short enough that, like, unless he's telling you, otherwise he's telling you, dude, my arm doesn't work. Like, I doubt he did say that. Like, use him for the 9th inning and get those 3 outs. That game was so important. You had to have it, and they almost blew it if not for Wandy Peralta.
That's my whole thing of the whole season. I don't get it. I've never seen a manager coach when realistically right now, and I know it's hypothetical, the Yankees aren't in the playoffs right now.
Yeah.
How does he get away with coaching like his team is 10 games in first? I don't understand it.
They value rest over urgency, and it's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. They just act like it's a walk in the park, and they're the New York Yankees, and they'll be gifted a wild card spot at the bare minimum. Maybe they think that the playoff system is like last year, where like 1 million teams get it. Not the case. It is infuriating. Now the rest days, I feel like for the position players have come less than they were earlier in the year. Like Aaron Judge, right. I feel like plays most of the time every day now. Like You're not seeing him get those like travel days and all that. Now that may just because he's healthy, and he really wasn't healthy a couple months ago, and they were just hiding it by saying it was rest and all that. But whatever. I feel like those guys are playing a lot more consistently these days. So at least there's that. But man, I hated pulling Loaizaga. People are like, oh, you're being Monday morning quarterback, and I'm like, nah, dude. Like I said it, like when it was going on, I hated this. Who could possibly? And same with Zach Britton. No one wanted Zach. He doesn't throw strikes.
Everybody knew it. Even fans. I mean, the fans know. We're not coaching a damn team.
When the whole fan base is infuriated at a move, it's a good idea that it's probably a bad move.
Right.
Yeah. Switching gears a little bit, like to the lineup, Giancarlo Stanton is always like I think going to be like a topic just because of who he is, and it's the Yankees, right? We've seen him this season, get hot for brief stints, but he's also
crazy hot. Early in the year, he had that one stretch. It was like news. It was like global news when he got up to the plate.
Exactly. Yeah. So we've seen him get blistering for like some stretches, but then I feel like this year is probably there's been stretches where I've seen him be the worst that I've seen him.
Yeah.
And what do you think? Can anything be done about that, or is this just a thing where it's like this is Giancarlo Stanton and that's what we have for the next however many years his contract is? Like he's gonna be what he's gonna be when he's hot, and he's gonna have like some of the worst ABs that you've ever seen when he's cold, and you just have to put up with that.
Yeah, I mean he's streaky as hell. I mean, no question about it. His weighted runs created plus is still 126, which in 100 to the average. So he's technically an above average hitter, but you don't pay Giancarlo Stanton for just 126. You pay for the MVP type seasons where he's sitting around 155, 160. That's not 126 is not him. I think he's starting to find it a little bit lately. A lot more. The swings have been much better. I feel like in August, you're still going to get him badly on sliders here and there. He's been exceptionally good in the clutch all season. I'll say that. Like his numbers, I don't have them top of my head, but I want to say in close situations and all that, he's like his OPS like over 900. Like he's been excellent in clutch situations. You saw it obviously with the home run against the White Sox in the Field of Dreams game was massive. He had a couple big hits before that, leading up to that series that were massive. You just got to take what it is. It stinks that you're not going to get MVP Stanton anymore. And he's, this is far from Miami Marlins Stanton, of course, but ever since he's kind of started playing the field, he's looked a little bit more comfortable at the plate. And he's always said that he feels like when he is in the field, he feels more active. His legs are kind of more loose. Because I think when he was DHing, he would still run inside the clubhouse, like to stay loose. So now he's playing the field. He's a little bit more engaged in the game. Hopefully that helps. It's gonna have to happen. He's gonna have to play the field, and he's playing it tonight. But he's in right field against the Angels. It's gonna have to happen because Luke Voigt is too good to not contribute to this team. Like he won them the Kansas City game. His 2-run home run on Sunday he didn't have a hit going into Sunday, but he played a hell of a game on Sunday. Sure, the defense isn't there. He's a DH. We just know that. He's going to be – it's why we have Anthony Rizzo. Anthony Rizzo is a platinum gold glover. He's at first base. Voigt's your DH. Giancarlo's got to play the outfield. Bottom line, when you have all that go in, it's an elite lineup. You have Gallo or Judge in center and vice versa. In the other corner position, that's a really, really, really dangerous lineup.
Yeah, I was actually – you answered my question right there. I was just going to talk about that with Luke Voigt. People forget how good Luke Voigt is.
Oh, yeah.
He's had injuries this year. I think that plagued him a lot. And, getting Luke Voigt as much at bats as possible is amazing. And don't kid ourselves. Luke Voigt, like you said, he's a DH. He's not in there for no defense at first base. No. Luke Voigt's in there now because we know Rizzo's hurt. COVID. Rizzo comes back. You put him at first base. Stanton got to figure out left field. He got to be able to stay out there.
Yep.
That is truly what is best to this team. Because you look at that 1 through 9 with Gallo in center field. It's stupid. It's stupid good. And that's where this club needs to go to be one of the elite clubs that they can be. So really moving forward now, entering this playoff picture and this push, what are the main things in your opinion that have to happen? Bar injuries, barring any more COVID situations.
Yeah, I would say stay away from COVID.
Stay away from COVID. That's the big thing. But what are the other things going forward for this club? Is there a certain player that you see on this club that just has to really step up moving forward to keep this team afloat?
It is something how long a baseball season is, because there was a time for a long period of time where it's like, where is this offense? What's going on here? And now lately it's like, they're there. Like the offense is almost every single night cooking in some fashion, maybe aside from they did have that 17-inning scoreless streak, I guess, heading into Kansas City or into that Kansas City game. And then all of a sudden you had that insane baseball game where everyone scored in the last inning and all that. But now the offense is there and it's the bullpen that's really messing everything up. So, your eyes have to go right to the bullpen. You can't be blowing games anymore. You can't have these devastating losses in the 9th inning. You really got to shore it up, and that's making Loaizaga the closer and getting Chapman healthier, and then figuring out the 9th inning from there, getting Britton somehow back on track. Green's got to get the fastball being more effective and not just a meatball. See what happens with Clark Schmidt. You got to fortify the bullpen, because I trust the starting pitching has really been there most of the season. There may have been like a 2-week stretch where it was a disaster, but for the most part, starting pitching's really held up. And obviously Garrett Cole is another factor. That man's just got to start pitching like Garrett Cole consistently now. And maybe someone said this now, it's not good that he got COVID, and I know he was feeling symptoms and he lost weight. Don't want that. But giving him this little bit of a 2-week break here for maybe his brain and his arm makes him a little fresher. We'll see. What I'm saying could be completely outdated if the Angels just throttle him on Monday when you're listening to this later in the week. But Cole's got to come back. If Cole can bring an extra energy, if he just starts throwing like flamethrowers and just striking people out left and right and just dominating the lines left and right. But the bullpen is super, super, super important.
Yeah. Isn't it? I've been saying all year, it's been so interesting to like look at this season like in a vacuum and for once not say like, dang, like, our starting pitching is always the thing. And this year, that's not the case. Like, no. I think it gets overlooked with the woes that we've seen like throughout the year, that our starting rotation has been really formidable in a very tough division. We have the Blue Jays, you have Boston, like these are offenses that just don't quit. And then even when you leave the division, you're playing teams like the White Sox or the Astros, like more offenses that just do not quit. And it's like, yeah, the rotation has held up. They did a great job, most of this series against the White Sox.
10-3 on the year, I think, if I'm correct, off the Astros and White Sox. So if I'm doing that math correctly in my head, I think it's something like that.
Yeah, we went 4-2
They
against
took
the White Sox.
4-2 against the White Sox, and 5 of 6.
5 out of 6 against the White Sox. 4-2 from the Astros. So yeah,
I'm terrible at math, but I mean
that's 4, 5. That's 9, and then 3 losses.
Still
okay.
terrific.
So 9-3. Yeah. All right. So I was almost there, but yeah,
They're really good. Phenomenal.
Got to figure out how to beat the Red Sox. Everyone else, kind of have and they've taken 2 straight series against the Rays. Toronto, they've oddly played solid enough against. They've got 7 more against Toronto. We'll see how they go. They just slumped a little bit on the West Coast, which was nice to gain some gain some distance on them. But yeah, they play their competition, except when they play the Red Sox, which they've really got to figure out. They really got to figure out this week. And, and I kind of like that Cole isn't pitching against them. I think it was, that was a topic of discussion. I think the Red Sox are a little too familiar right now with Garrett Cole. And it's nice. It's gonna be nice to skip that. And they get Luis Gil, who is, I'm very excited to see what that man is going to do. They've never faced him. He's got some filthy stuff. So,
he could be if there is anything to do with him with an innings limit, he could be absolutely filthy out the bullpen. Just fastball slider alone, he would. Yeah,
you guys were talking about star. I was going to mention this. You talked about Domingo maybe going the bullpen. I think you could see Luis Gil go there, and you use him for an inning, and people actually project him out to be that closer role. Like that's like they see Medina more as a starter because those guys have very similar arsenals. They just electric fastballs, off speed stuff. Great. I think they project Medina more as a starter, and Gil is more of as a closer type role. So you might be able to see something like that. When Sevy was remember when Sevy was struggling when he first came in the majors and they pulled him the bullpen and he was lights out that month or two. Maybe you see a little bit of that.
Well, my question is going back to this Red Sox series, which is going to be huge for the Yankees right now, going down the stretch. They named Heaney the starter for Wednesday.
Heen Dog.
Yeah, Heen Dog is starting on Wednesday. With Garrett Cole and Montgomery coming back into the rotation, why do you think the Yankees are still sticking with Heaney there and not maybe trying to figure out getting someone else to start against Boston, being that we really need this series?
Well, if you think about it, how it sucks, but there's no one else. So Cole's pitching today. Okay, if Cole doesn't pitch today, he pitches. He would pitch Tuesday against the Red Sox, not Wednesday. So, but then you're moving. So then Montgomery would have pitched tonight if you're going to swap those guys. So those guys are getting burned Monday and Tuesday. You're going to pitch Gil in the series, and then who else? JMO pitched Saturday, so he can't go Wednesday. He's not going. That doesn't. And Nestor just pitched Sunday. So the only other option is Davey, who's had a really bad year in the minors. So
you don't need to give him a start.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If I'm running the team, I'm pitching quite literally anybody but him. And
I do a bullpen game. We've been.
Well,
I mean,
it's
I hate
tough
those.
to do that after a doubleheader, though.
Yeah, that's the thing.
True.
Yeah,
that is true.
Now, I mean, that being said, there's 7 innings, and realistically, Montgomery and Hill could give you a bulk of those 14 potential innings. But the bullpen has been taxed, and you don't trust a lot of those guys right now. So
true.
It also could be. What I hope is that they go inning by inning with him, and they quick hook. So it almost could turn into a bullpen game if the next 3 days go good. You can give him that quick hook because they can't afford to just leave him out there like they did in the Field of Dreams game and then pray the offense just gets cooking again. Oh wait, let's try and win again instead of just burning this game. So maybe that's my hope for Wednesday is that he gives up a few bombs in that first or second inning. See ya. I don't care if it's 2-0. You're out of this game. I'm not dealing with this. I can't. He is god awful. I can't stand to watch him anymore.
I mean, 7 runs in how many innings? The Field of Dreams game.
He's got 15 runs, 15 hits, and 15 innings as a Yankee.
And 9 homers given up?
Yeah. Something like that. The only silver lining here is that this is it for him. Because after this,
that's right.
After this, you do go to the rotation of Cole, not this order, but Cole, JMO, Montgomery, Nestor, and Gil. And then Kluber hopefully is back in a week or two, and then you figure out what to do with Gil. But that's your 5 moving forward. It's a good 5. I like that 5 a lot.
Yeah. Definitely a good 5. So my last question for you is one I've been asking everybody, and it has to do, of course, with Aaron Boone. I hate trying to be negative, and I don't want to be negative about the Yankees. I believe they're going to make the playoffs. I was actually even saying I think they still got a shot at the division if they really play well.
Yeah, I agree.
If the Yankees ever did not make the playoffs, is there any way in the world you bring Aaron Boone back? Even if they do make the wild card, they're one and done, God forbid. Let's not hope that happens. I'm just asking hypotheticals. You cannot bring this guy back. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, his contract's up anyway, so they would just not renew it. And they would just be like, yeah, see you, you're out of here. It's not like he's under contract for another year. Like, it's it. So
but can you see them doing it with Cashman having only 1 year?
They'd bring in a new.
Would you trust Cashman to go out there and get another manager?
They'd bring in a new voice. They'd have. I think
they have to, right? They almost have to.
They'd be forced to. And if they realistically, if it went that bad, I feel like with the way the roster is built right now, they should be they should figure out a way into the wild card, if not like sniffing that division, because the Red Sox and Rays play a ton down the stretch. I think they have 7 more games together. So the Yankees, I know it's not an easy schedule. They got to go out west here. They got to play Toronto 7 more times. They got Boston. They got the Rays still. Their last 9, I want to say off the top of my head, is Toronto, Tampa, and Boston. So that's not easy at all to end the year. But they're good enough at full strength here, or, if you want to count Sevy, not exactly full strength, but they should be able to get in the playoffs. And if they don't, it's going to be what happened this weekend. It's just you're not going to get the break of having Wandy and Albert Abreu save you, because it's me, Aaron Boone, just screwing around with this bullpen again.
One more question on that, just a follow-up. We had Ozzie Guillen Jr. on not too long ago. We did an interview with him about, managers in the game today and all that. One of the things he mentioned about Tony La Russa being a manager for the White Sox, that it was such a good time for it, was that they got such a young, erratic clubhouse that these guys didn't utilize the energy more on the field. They did it elsewhere.
Yeah.
So getting a guy like Tony really allowed them to utilize that on the field, and whether they like him or not, Tony's the type that, the win and loss record says we're doing a good job, so whatever. Is there any mindset for you when it comes to the Yankees? We know what the team looks like. We see Glaber sometimes lollygag down first base. We see all these base running errors and all that. Does this team need a Girardi type? Would that be perfect, that they have somebody that maybe is a little more, I'm sorry, time to sit down? You can't do that here.
Yeah,
do they need a little more of that?
Girardi just took it. They hired on extremes. Girardi was just that general who would like, don't you dare chew gum in the clubhouse. Not that he said it, but he would be that type of guy. Like, what do you look?
Well, he did take away their candy bars, didn't he? The first year? He took away the candy bars.
Yeah, he kind of was like that type of. Yeah, right. Look at me when I'm talking to you, and he berate Gary when he didn't block the ball and all that. And then Boone wants to be everyone's friend. So it's like we got to get somewhere in the middle. In the middle here. To me, that's always been Buck Showalter. I would have brought in Buck if I were running the team.
We've said that for a minute on here.
Yeah,
that's the name.
I love Buck on the Yes Network. Whenever he's on the desk, he's fantastic. I think he does have that middle ground of embracing analytics, while also he's been in that game and has that feel. He's a more analytical Tony La Russa in my mind. Like, Tony's obviously been around the game as long as anybody, but and Buck's been there too. But I think Buck embraces analytics a little, because you can't be Schnitker on the Braves, who's like, look where we are, and I don't care about analytics at all. It's like, no, you haven't really done anything. You guys are barely in the playoff. You're only there because the NL East is terrible. So no, that was not a good quote by Schnitker. But so I need someone who looks at analytics. You don't have to follow it by the book, and obviously it does end up coming from Cashman up top. But Showalter's my guy. I would love if they brought him in next year. And I think he could be the perfect guy.
I always like to finish with a question that's not specifically about the Yankees or the season.
Sure.
So I'll ask you this. What's your favorite thing? Probably generic, and you've probably gotten this a million times, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What's your favorite thing about working at Barstool and, with the team that you have over there covering the Yanks?
Yeah. I wake up every single morning and don't have to dread walking to work or going to work and dealing with that day.
Unless we lose to Boston.
Yeah. But then even those days that you're like, I don't want to deal with these next 7 hours here, but you're like, you have to just take a step back and be like, this is my job. Like the job I had before this, I was doing 350 cold calls a day for absolute nonsense. Like, it was okay pay, but I hated my life. And like the moment I got off the bus at the Port Authority, walk into the office on 35th Street, those 8 blocks were like serenity for me, because I wasn't in the office yet. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not here. I'm still 5 blocks away. This is great. Oh no, 4 blocks. Oh, 3, oh, 2, I'm here. Damn it. I don't get that feeling at Barstool. Like, I love going to work. I have a great time there. You have the freedom to do everything you want. I really couldn't say enough good things about it, but really, like, I think if you could find a job where you wake up every day and you're not dreading it, I think that's as good as it gets.
Amen to that. That's not
I agree. I agree with that so damn much. I've been out of work myself now for about 3.5 to 4 years. About 4 years now, actually. Just music production, all the stuff I learned. I finally been able to I can support my family, which is great. Like, we don't gotta go to work all the time. But doing something you love is amazing too, man. Because this year I've actually learned about like stress and actually, if you could get it away from you, do it. Like, do it as much as you can, because
don't worry, the stress follows me at this job as well.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
Stress follows you everywhere. If you don't have stress, that there's always gonna be stress in life, no matter what. No matter if I'm watching Zach Britton try to close that 9th inning or what, stress will follow you. But that feeling of wake up in the morning and not having the immediate stress is nice.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Hubs, we appreciate it, man. Thank you for joining us. And if you guys, of course, follow Hubs, you know where to find him on Twitter.
You better be following him already. He's our guy over there at Barstool. So I don't want to.
We followed each other for a while now. We follow each other now. So I could vouch. And I don't know if that means anything to you guys on here, but go follow Hubs.
Yeah, I got to follow Francis. I got to get him in Slack in there. But I appreciate you guys for having me on. I appreciate it. Let's go Yanks.
Of course, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Go Yanks. That's right.
All right, guys.
Man, I tell you what, though. That was a fun interview. Hubs brings tremendous energy. Really a good guy. Definitely a good guy. One of the good ones out there in the Yankee planet on Twitter, where at least we have encountered them often. But he's brought up a lot of, definitely brought up a lot of good things about the Yankees, a lot of where our mindset was. And there's actually one that I didn't plan on starting with this, but I would like to start with this because we talked about this in that interview, and I think it makes a lot of sense jumping into that right now. And I'm going to throw this tweet on the screen, and then Francis, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. This is from Meredith Morakovitz. Luis Severino has no structural damage in his shoulder. Will not throw through this week. Francis, the reason I want to bring this up is during our interview, we basically said there's no hope in Luis Severino pitching this year. I am going to take back my statement, but I got a little wrench to throw out there. And it's something that we also talked about in the interview with Hubs. That wrench I'm throwing out is actually this. Listen to this, and you tell me if you see it differently. I think if big ifs, Luis Severino could get back on that mound, make a couple of rehab assignments, his best bet to help this club this year is out of the bullpen. 1 inning, tops. You let him gun it out, see if he can do it, try to maybe get him before it comes back-to-back days, something where you see, okay, he can manage that workload, and you use him that way. I don't think Luis Severino has anywhere near enough time to be an effective starter this year. What are your thoughts?
I don't think you're saying anything that's too outlandish. I think anyone who knows baseball and knows what it takes for a starting pitcher to get up to the innings limits knows that Severino's not going to have enough time to get, up to a guy who's going to be able to give you even 6 innings, honestly speaking. I think best case scenario, you can and this is if the Yankees continue to play the way that they've been playing, they march into the playoffs, they do what they're supposed to do. I think Severino could be a guy who gives you 4 innings somewhere, right? But that's still not guaranteed. And the reason I'll say that's not guaranteed is because he's still not back up with the club yet. It's August 19th, if I'm not mistaken. Today, when we're recording this, by the time you guys are hearing this, it's August 22nd.
Yeah.
So,
and he probably wouldn't have even thrown a pitch by then.
Yeah, no, he hasn't thrown a pitch in the major leagues yet. So he's going to have to obviously go through a couple more rehab starts, I think, before they bring him back up. At least 1, but I'm guessing 2 because of the missed one back that just happened. So let's see. I mean, honestly, let's see, because we don't know what it's going to be like when he does get up here. But even still, he'll have September and basically just September to get ramped up. And if you remember when Tyone started the beginning of the year, if you remember how tentative the Yankees were with him there, it's going to be real similar with Severino when Severino comes back. So don't expect the Yankees, even his first start, if they give him a start, which I could see them still giving him starts because, they do see him as a starter, but he'll be starting what's essentially a bullpen day.
Yeah.
They'll have him go out there and expect to get maybe 3 innings, 4 if his pitch count is good. But yeah, that's going to be it. And so by the time the playoffs roll around, I think the best case scenario is he's a guy who can give us 4 solid innings, and that's about it, which is good. You need a guy like, I think every team needs a guy like that in the playoffs, because you never know what's going to happen. In the playoffs, you can't take chances with a starter who doesn't have it. Right. So what if Taillon goes out there in a playoff game and for whatever reason, not that he's given us any reason to think he's not going to have it because he's been phenomenal, but say he doesn't have it one of these games, like, and after 2 innings, you got to pull him, right? You have a guy like Severino who you can go to get you those other 4 innings, to get you to your high leverage guys in the back end. So he can still play a very, very valuable role for this team coming down the stretch, even if he can't go the distance as a starter.
Right. And going back to when I mentioned that he hasn't thrown yet, I'm just mentioning what the Meredith Marakovits tweet says, that he's not going to throw for this whole week. So he wouldn't have even gotten back on a mound yet. If you're looking at it, I'm assuming they may be counting the weekend. If not, you got Saturday and Sunday when he's just throwing a ball again. No rehab assignment. He has to come out of that fine before they even decide what that next step is. So for me, I actually think his role is pretty pivotal to the team moving forward. Whatever that role may be. And to me, when you look at it as we only got, 2 weeks left tops in August? Yeah, a week and a half, basically right now, less than 2 weeks. So, and by the time this airs, you got about a week left. And then he may not even had a session yet or anything to see how his arm is feeling. So when I look at that and I go, okay, we know how great Luis Severino is. Likely will have no shot to be an impact starter this year. What is best for this ball club? If Luis Severino has a couple of minor appearances and he's able to throw 3 innings, maybe 1 or 2, and the team goes, all right, well, maybe we do some back-to-backs and see if this guy could have 1 off and then another. I feel personally, if you want to get your value out of Severino, and the Yankees may sit back and go, maybe the best bet here is that he shut down the rest of the year. Maybe that's the best bet. Maybe he prepares himself for next year. We know he's healthy. He takes that time away, does some strength and conditioning, and he gets back. And, you heard some of the stuff that, he's in the best shape of his life and this and that. And you always, it's kind of the same thing you hear about every player when they're injured. They're all of a sudden in the greatest shape of all time. But main thing Yankee fans want to see is Luis Severino back in the major leagues pitching. And I don't think any Yankee fan would be upset if that ended up being him pitching out of the bullpen for the Yankees in pivotal moments. If that, to me, that's my opinion of what the best case scenario is, because I cannot see him making any starts. I just don't see it.
Yeah. No, 100%. And I think, the idea here is if there's a possibility to have him back, throwing a few innings at the major league level before the season is out, then you definitely do that, because it's been so long since he's played at this level that you got to get him back, and you want to see something. But I also want to temper, what's it called? Expectations. Because I know that a lot of Yankee fans are just thinking like, oh, like Severino coming back means like we have another elite arm right there to just plug into the rotation. And it's like, yeah, not at all.
It doesn't work that way.
Not at all. Like it doesn't mean that in the slightest. Now, does that mean for next year that it can't mean that? No. Like look, Taillon came back this season. He grinded that first half, and then coming out of All-Star break and coming through here, he's been really, really, really freaking good. And I could see the same thing potentially happening for a Severino. I could see him coming here the end of the year, nothing too crazy, maybe a flash of greatness here or there, but nothing spectacular. And same thing to start next year. And then maybe by June, July, him really getting into it again and starting to be the person he is. And if that's what happens, I think we're blessed as Yankee fans. I mean, look at the rotation that we have this year. Like, we really, it sounds crazy, but for once, I've been saying it for a while now. For once, I'm not all that worried about the pitching.
Oh, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. No doubt about it at all. I enjoy their starting pitching. I was just saying it today with because when we're recording this, it's the 19th, and Jameson Taillon had another pretty good game. Fell apart a little bit in 1 inning, but was tremendous through the first 5. But I mean, I even tweeted. I said, "Man, he's just tremendous. Though he's fun to watch because he's so good. He's been excellent since that June 18th
Yeah.
They always throw that stat out there, but one of the best pitchers in the American League. But and Nestor Cortez, Luis Gil hasn't gave up a run yet. You know what I mean? I mean, he went against the Boston Red Sox, and this kid got ice in his veins. He is not scared of anything. He goes out there and plays ball. Cortez, like I said, has been excellent. People gave Monty some shit. His first game back, Monty looked all right. You know what I mean? I'm not beating up Monty at all. I think Monty will be fine. He's been one of our better pitchers this year. And Garrett Cole picked up a W on his first game back from COVID. You know what I mean? So our rotation right now is looking decent.
Okay. Yeah,
I thought he looked fine too.
I thought Monty looked okay.
There's a lot of people shitting on him, but that's the normal stuff you be seeing on Twitter. So
I think people they forget like what it is. Like for pitching is very, very difficult at the major league level, and you have to you need your reps. So when a pitcher goes down for even a small amount of time, like being on the COVID IL 10-day protocol, it's 10 days is still like 2 starts for them, and that's not, a major league starter is not going to be the same after missing just sitting on ice for 2 starts. There's going to be some rest. There's going to be some, growing pains when they come back or whatever. And it is what it is. Now, Garrett Cole came back and pretty much looked like himself. He gave up the 1 home run and pretty much shoved the rest of the way. That's pretty much been Garrett Cole this year. So, yeah, He looked exactly the same. But, Garrett Cole is elite. He's one of the best pitchers in the game.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Monty, I think Monty looked just fine.
And he's been there and done that, too. We got to remember that. You know what I mean? G. Cole been there and done that.
He knows what it is. Yeah. I think people forget that Monty is still not, like, a veteran, like, seasoned
because it feels like he's been here forever. And he's just one of those guys, like, Monty's been in our system for a long time. We remember when he came up and he was good, then the injury, he struggled, came back. And there's a lot of history already there, it feels like, with Monty. And I think, like you said, I think a lot of people kind of take Montgomery for granted. It's kind of the same thing that we talked about with Hubs in an interview of how kind of Nestor is looked at. And, Hubs is now on record of basically saying, no, I just think this guy is good. You know what I mean? He's not one of these journeyman guys. He's 26 years old, 27 or whatever it is. So it's not like Nestor's some journeyman that's been with 14 organizations and, we pick him up and he catches lightning in a bottle and we're like, oh, look, we got a starter of the future. A lot of people kind of just throw Nestor off as, a guy who's getting lucky this year. Simple as that. And, there's not a spot for him. It's kind of like one of those, like you said with Monty, kind of like you forget, So I agree with you 100%. I think the rotation is really fine. And speaking of the rotation, Francis, we had a sweep of Boston, and the guy in the mound remind me, what is his nickname again?
Oh, you have to be referring to the Heen Dog.
The Heen Dog.
Heen Dog.
Heen Dog. We got the good old Heen Dog. And folks.
Oh, man. Hey, imagine getting Heen Dogged.
Oh, my God. Nah, ain't nobody want to get Heen Dogged. Because that sounds like so many bad damn things I've heard in my life. Oh, man. Hey, bro. You know that dude down the street? He got Heen Dogged. He got Heen Dogged. That's like something. Nah, that don't sound right. That don't sound right. But the Red Sox got Heen Dogged. I mean, just to throw it out there. The Red Sox got Heen Dogged. And let's cut to the highlights right now. Here it is, folks. The New York Yankees finish a sweep of the Boston Red Sox. And there is that man right there. Andrew Heen Dog Heaney. 7 innings pitched. 2 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Francis, I got to be real with you, man. I never thought I'd say that. I never thought I would say a line for the Heen Dog. 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, 1 home run. So I got to ask you this. Was Heaney good, or are the Red Sox right now just playing really, really bad?
I think it was a combination of both. I hate I hate when like you get a question like this and the person answers it like the way I just answered it. So I'm sorry, guys, but I truly, honestly feel it was a combination of both, and I'm going to tell you why. The Red Sox have been skidding since the All-Star break, right? That's
True.
No secret.
That's correct.
That is no secret. The Red Sox came out of the All-Star break pretty flat, and there's a lot of blame put on, them not getting, enough relief pitchers, allowing Rizzo to, come to the Yankees and them not being the ones who picked up Rizzo. And so there's a lot of, there's been a lot of, how you say, like, not excuses, but I guess reasoning, right? The people have given them a lot of reasons,
right,
to be, what they are. But I think the truth is there's no secret that they've been skidding. So it's very possible that their offense just had one of those terrible off days, and Heaney got saved by that. But I say it's a combination because after that first inning home run to Xander Bogaerts, most of us were like, yeah, that's what we expected it to look like. So first inning, second deck, bomb off of you, that makes sense. And in the second inning, we're just waiting for anyone.
You're waiting for the pull. You're trying in your head. You're figuring out how they're gonna get through this game.
Exactly. We're like, they're gonna, like, I'm just waiting for the next guy to hit the next home run. Like Christian Vasquez was, I think, in an account where I was just like, oh, here it's gonna come, and it's like, it's like, oh no, okay, fine. And it turns over again, and then JD's there, and I'm like, oh, JD's gonna get, oh no, JD struck out. Wow, okay. And there's like the innings keep going. Next thing you know, it's like, wait, he's going out there for the 7th, having only given up 1 run on 2 base hits. And I'm like, damn, like, I don't know about this. But then he goes, and I'm like, every single pitch he threw in the 7th inning, I was afraid.
Oh, yeah.
Every single pitch.
Definitely.
Every single pitch he threw, I was like, yeah, this is going to be the one. This is going to be the one. But he made pitches. After the first inning, he really settled down, and he made pitches. And what's surprising to me is not so much that he finally had a line like this. It's that he had a line like this in a game like this. The Yankees swept the doubleheader the day before.
That's a good point.
There's been so much pressure on the Yankees in these last games of the series because we have a terrible record in the last game of a series this year, especially when we've already won the series or whatever. Right. The Yankees struggle sweeping. We know this. We've been talking about it all year. We're sweepless in the Bronx. Sweepless in the Bronx.
Sweepless in the Bronx.
We just can't do it.
A new romance novel by Fabio.
Exactly. So having Andrew Heaney on the mound for Game 3, it's like, for us, we're just like, the writing's on the wall here. Like, we're gonna get embarrassed, and it's gonna be one of those demoralizing losses after we play so well for a series. Like, that's what we're expecting, and it's like, it didn't happen. Like, he showed up, he locked it down. Like, it's the last thing that anybody was expecting, much less in a Yankees-Red Sox rivalry game where it matters. Like, this game was super important for both teams. It was a must-win for the Red Sox, probably more must-win for them than it was for the Yankees, being that the Yankees swept the doubleheader the day prior. And he showed up. He showed up. He made pitches. He got into decent counts. The strikeout was there when he needed it, and his defense behind him was stellar. I can't, so I'll say it's a little bit of both. A little bit of both.
Yeah. I mean, you sold the point for me. I don't even have to talk about it now. I mean, you sold it 150%. I mean, I'm buying exactly what you said. Point of the matter is, I mean, no matter how you want to put it, right? Like you said, I mean, he delivered. He delivered. That's all there is to it. Heen Dog's been to Heen Dog, and the Heen Dog delivered. So, I mean, I don't think I can say Heen Dog enough. But he did his job, fam. I mean, that's what we're looking at. That's what we've seen. The Yankees needed to start like this. And to be even more fair, I think Heaney needed to start like this, right? He needed some sort of comfort. Oh, yeah. He needed some sort of comfort with the Yanks, because if he had another outing where he gives up 4+ homers again, 3+ homers again, struggles, he did get some help by the Yankee defense. Let's also remember that. He did. Oh, yeah. There was a lot of really beautiful plays. We just saw the one right there by DJ LeMay, who put on some hops on him. He got all the way up there, to make the catch. We know Odor made a good play at third. There was a lot of good plays. Velasquez made a couple of good plays. We'll talk about one of the big ones later in the game. But yeah, I'm right there with you when it comes to Heaney. I saw somebody put something out there that said something along the lines that it was basically to sum it up, it was a lucky game based on how hard some of the balls were hit and the probability of those balls being caught. But at the end of the day, I mean, John Sterling it. That's baseball, Susan. I mean, that's baseball. At the end of the day, that line looks the way it looks. He pitched a good game. He got a big W for the Yanks.
If it was, I'll tell you like this, if it was a lucky game, then the Yankees were more due than anyone else in the league.
Damn right. I mean, and it came at the right time, didn't it?
How often have the Yankees, have we had to watch Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton smoke balls into the freaking outfield only to be right at somebody or right into the shift. Like the other, I mean, when was it? It was the other day that Giancarlo hit the ball like 118 into a double play.
Yes, into 120.
And the people couldn't get over it. They were like, oh my God, 120 off the bat. And all I could get over was into a double play.
Into a double play was exactly. That's what we were saying. It was a double play.
It was hit really hard. And the probability of something that's hit 120 ending up in an out, let alone 2 outs, is microscopic.
Right.
But this is the way that the Yankee season had been going. Like this shit was happening to us all year. So if the Heen Dog game was lucky, yeah, I'll take it. I'll take that luck any day of the week against the Red Sox. We needed it, and we got it. And when we needed to show up against this team, this is the biggest series this is the biggest series of the year thus far.
Oh yeah, 100%. And the one good thing is there was a lot of ups in this game that people aren't really looking at. The stars of the game I'll talk about 1 minute, but one of the big guys I want to talk about in this game was Zach Britton.
Giancarlo just went deep.
Oh, and the Twins won?
Giancarlo, yep. And the game's 7-4.
7-4 right now? Nice. But you're good. One of the things I wanted to talk about, Zach Britton looked really good. Britton looked really good, and Aroldis Chapman looked really bad.
Exactly.
And here you're seeing my player of the game. There's 2 of them, and they're both involved in that play right there. Andrew Velasquez, as you see him make that great play to end the game with Lucas Luetge in, and also a great play on the other side by the one, the only, Tony Rizzo. Speaking of that was Rizzo's first game back. He gets the big 2 RBIs on the single, and Andrew Velasquez just hit. He's starting to hit. He's getting hot now. Even the game that we're watching right now, he's tripled and singled in that game too. Yep. And this is, again, guys, the 19th. We are actually filming this right now to be aired on Sunday. So we're watching the Twins game currently, the start of that series.
Of the 4 game, yep.
Of the 4 game. And Andrew Velasquez has looked really good. And it's a really good story. We saw he got the championship belt. Just a great story right out of the Bronx. I think, we're both born in the Bronx. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we've had that experience of growing up at one point and say, man, it would be awesome to play for the Yankees, wouldn't it? This dude he's living it, His father also worked at the 42nd Precinct, which is not far from Yankee Stadium, was a detective. He wears a detective badge on his neck while he plays. There's just so much story there because any of those hometown stories are always terrific, right? It's just it's like the storybook setting. And, but Velasquez is doing a really, really good job for this club. A really good job.
Yeah. And aside from the hitting coming around, I just want to speak to the fact that his defense from the moment he came up has been phenomenal.
So damn good.
And it again, immediately, like when we see him play, people are going straight to Gleyber and they're, Gleyber wouldn't have done that. Gleyber wouldn't have done this. And it's true. But I do want to say, Gleyber's been much better defensively as a shortstop this year. But when we say that he's still not like that level of shortstop, like or whatever, this is what we mean. Like, look at Andrew Velasquez. Look at the plays that he makes. Look at the sure-handedness. Look at the throws. Look at the confidence in the position. Like, that's what a major league shortstop is supposed to look like when they're playing in the field.
Yeah, and
right?
I'm playing that highlight again now. He ended the game. There's no way. And that's, again, like you said, Gleyber never makes that play. No way. That is elite defense from a shortstop. Defense from a shortstop.
I saw people saying, I saw it on Twitter. People kept saying, Gleyber won't make that play or whatever. And I responded and I was just like, well, see, I said the thing about it is Gleyber probably never has to make that play because Gio plays to his right. And the reason that Velasquez had to make that play in this game was because Odor, who's not a natural third baseman, He whiffed on it. So the ball gets deeper into the hole and Velasquez has to save it from the hole and make a snap throw. Whereas if it's Gleyber and Gio goes to his left a little bit better than I would say a lot better than Odor does at third or whatever. And his arm is probably, better also. So not even probably, it's better. I don't know why I'm like, I just haven't seen you in a while, Gio. Forgive me. But like, if that, so I said, I was like, Gleyber doesn't make that play. Yeah, probably not. But he also probably never has to because Gio plays to his right.
Well, the
and
thing that
Gio makes that play.
The thing that's so impressive about that play, if you watch it again, is Velasquez didn't go all out on a dive. He slid on his butt and backhanded the ball.
Yeah.
That means he almost ran by the ball. So he had more range to go. That's impressive as hell.
Because he was just backing up. And these are the things again, these are the things again that I keep saying, like when you look at Gleyber Torres, and even though he's made strides, he's still not that level yet.
Right. And
like
he may never be.
And again, like he might not ever be that, because like I personally just don't think that that's his trajectory in the major leagues.
I agree.
But when you look at the way that Andrew backed up the Odor play, like that's why he was in position to make the play and make a throw. Like Gleyber, he'll back up the play a lot of times, but a lot of the time where the ball gets by Gio and Glaber's backing up, it gets by him too. Like if you go back and look at the plays, I mean, it's all over YouTube if you want. Like Gleyber normally misses it too, and because Gleyber kind of backs up with the mentality that I'm not really gonna have to make a play here. And even if even the times where he does get to it, I would say 7 times out of 10 he doesn't make a throw because he's not confident in his throw from that deep in the hole. Velasquez stops the ball right away and snaps to make a throw, and his throw was accurate. It gets to Rizzo off of 1 bounce and just beats the runner to end the game. Like it's elite level shit. So again, I don't want to make this about Gleyber, because
not at all.
He's
not
battling to come back and stuff.
Correct.
So kudos to him. Let him do his thing. But I'm just trying to that was really amazing.
And you
what
can look
Andrew
at
Velasquez did.
Well, you can also do this, right? You can look at both sides of that ball and go, well, I mean, Voigt probably doesn't make that play.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? You could literally look around it on all sides. So it's not like where or anybody is looking to beat up Gleyber. They're not going to be better defensively than these guys. They're not. So
right now the defense with today's game that we're, like I said, today's the 19th. So you guys were watching the first game of the 4-game set against the Twins. This defensive alignment that we have, like, this is probably my favorite, minus the fact that DJ's not playing.
Yeah.
Because defensively, it's amazing with Velasquez at short.
And you know who's looked good
Rizzo
in
at
this
first.
game? Giancarlo and Wright hasn't looked bad. He made a great throw from the out.
Great
you can
throw,
see he's still got a very good arm.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, keep your ass out there. Stay out there. Like, this is a better club with Stanton in the outfield. It's as simple as that. So, that basically covers what we actually, matter of fact, no, before we go into the whole Luke Voigt drama that I definitely want to get a chance to talk about, I do want to talk about Aroldis Chapman. We see him come into that game. He has to get pulled because he was handing it over. He was giving that game away. 0-2 third innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, 1 hit, 1 earned run, 1 strikeout, a homer given up. It's getting closer and closer here, it feels like, to really do or die territory with Chapman. We are, like you said, we are entering the last week of August. I don't know how much time you have to build up enough confidence to say, well, I know who my closer is in the playoffs. I don't know how you go down that route. We saw the mad cow, as I like to call him now, because he always shows pictures of the cow, John Loizaga, come in there and in a game where I'm screaming at the TV because I'm like, who the hell is calling the pitches? He doesn't throw a fastball. The guy throws 99. What are you doing? He's walking guys. He doesn't look himself. Then he rears back and starts pounding fastballs away, strikes one guy out. I forgot what happened after that. But bases loaded, no outs, I think it was. He gets out of it. No runs given up.
He got a line out and then got 2 strikeouts.
2 strikeouts. And, we saw who he is. But I bring that stuff up because Britton has also had a longer amount of time now to kind of get it on track. Chad Green has had time to get it on track. So now you start seeing these guys pitch better. You saw Britton pitch well against the Red Sox in the final game of the sweep. You kind of start lining your men up here and go, where's Chapman in the pecking order? Where does he end up? It's going to be interesting.
It's definitely an interesting question. I don't want to like write Chapman off just for the simple fact that I know the organization is more than not infatuated, but like they're committed to him in a way. So it's like Chapman is always going to get the reps, and that's what it is. My whole thing is finding where the reps need to be. Like this game 3 against Boston, like with the chance to sweep them, and with everything that would mean with the season that we've had, and for the division, and for the standings, and putting ourselves in that position in the wild card standings. Like, that wasn't necessarily the game where I wanted to see Chapman come in and get some work. I know that he was back off the IL, but as soon as he was back off the IL, I tweeted out right away, like, can he be unback for like a little bit longer?
Right.
Because I just had a feeling. I was like, no matter how this game goes, they're going to want to get him in today.
Yep. And
today is just not the day.
And as I say that, Miguel Sano just hits a bomb off of Chad Green. So, Chad Green maybe still a bit of a little bit of a struggle for him. So,
yeah.
But no, I agree with you. I think you still obviously have time, right, to get him where he needs to be. And again, it's the curveball. It's the curveball again with Chad Green. My goodness, I don't know what's going on with that pitch, but every time he throws it, guys are just smacking it around the field.
Yeah,
it's crazy. But before we move on to Luke Voigt, if you didn't have any more on that game,
he's got to have a huge September. That was my last point.
Of course, definitely
with Chapman. If he is,
but it has to be shut down.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like if he's gonna be one of those guys in October, pitching in any high leverage moment, meaning 7th, 8th, or 9th, he needs to have a huge.
It's got to be beginning of the season, Chappie.
Exactly.
Beginning of the season, Chappie.
He's got to find a way to recover whatever that was that he had to start the year.
Yep.
If it's not that, then to me, we're going into October with the knowledge that Johnny Lasagna is our closer, and
and you got to run with it.
And you have to just stick with it. Like, he's the closer, and like guys like Abreu, guys like Ridings, like they need to be like in strong consideration to be that supporting cast.
Yeah.
Like, because again, like Britton has been better, but even in today's game, he gave up a run. And Chad Green has been getting a little bit better, but you know what I'm saying? He just gave up a home run to Sano. Now, in a game where you're leading by 3 runs, that's not as big of a deal. We were leading by 3 when Britton gave up the run, and then we were also leading by 3 just now when Chad gave up the run. But in the playoffs, you just can't take that gamble.
Not at all. And you got to show some love too for a guy like Wandy Peralta, who has been so damn good as of late.
Exactly.
So damn good.
Exactly. So Wandy, in my opinion, in terms of the circle of trust, like, he also needs to be high up in there.
Yeah.
Not because he's necessarily better than Chapman or better than Green or better than Britton. I think people get it misconstrued.
Performance
when we
based.
This way. You have to. I think it should go based off of performance. And right now,
and it's also the eye test, right? It's what we talk about. The eye test.
Yeah. Right now, he's a better option. I think stuff-wise, you can argue that all day and tomorrow. But stuff, where does that play? Outside of the bullpen. Like, stuff is bullpen shit. We don't care about
outside of analytics. I mean, you know what I mean? Sometimes analytics poisons you because the stuff could look so good, but the results are never there.
It's like, oh, yeah, it's spinning really well. Yeah, but it's spinning until he puts the bat on it and puts it 20 rows into the seats.
Right.
Like, that's my thing. I just like, let's go with, recency bias. And you can say, oh yeah, but what is Wandy? Yeah, but Wandy's been good as of late, so he's higher on the totem pole right now for me. If he starts to stink it up, then he'll drop right down. It's the same thing. Steven Ridings, I know that he's young. I know that he's a rookie. I know whatever. I get it. But because he's been so effective in this short burst, I want to roll with that until it doesn't work anymore.
Yep, that's right.
It's simple as that.
Yep.
And I have a feeling that it will work pretty well for a decent amount of time because it's going to take the league a second to adjust to him.
Yeah.
It's not going to I don't think they're going to be able to adjust to him this year.
I agree. So the bullpen has its things. There's still time there, which is good to get these guys to where they really need to be. So after the series, after the sweep, the New York Yankees are now, we always talk about the hypothetical, right? They are right now in the playoffs, folks. So they're right now the number 1 wild card team, half a game up on Oakland. And the Yankees are also in second place in the AL East. They're 5.5 games behind the Tampa Bay Rays, who are playing really good baseball again. But the one thing I want to mention about that, and this is going to be interesting, because I think if we were to go pre all-star game, and we talked about this so many times. I even put a tweet yesterday like, yeah, guys, anybody comparing the team early on the year than after the deadline, it's a completely different team. I think the mindset is different. I think Brian Cashman gave them a silver platter and said, guys, he gave them new armor to put on and said, go run, go to war. And these guys are like super hype, and they're ready to go play ball and do some big things. So with where they are right now, I don't think if we could have went back and somebody would have told us, is the last 3 games of the year against the Rays gonna be important? I think we would have sat back then and be like, nah, no, probably. Maybe we're catching up on some of the young prospects for next year. Maybe some of those guys get a start. Maybe at that point we might have been saying maybe Luis Heel gets a start. Maybe we see more flow. That could be a series where you determine who's a division winner and who's a wild card winner. That's crazy.
Yeah. I think the way that the season has played out this last month of September is going to be so huge for the AL East, as same way in the NL West. Like,
yeah,
these two,
that's right.
And maybe the NL East
and
for
the
that
East.
matter.
Yeah,
like,
the Braves are starting to pick it up.
These three divisions where it's like, yeah, it's going to be September's going to be so big. September's going to be so big. And yeah, I think with the Yankees, we have that big series against the Blue Jays coming up now soon. I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, we have 2 more series against the Blue Jays before the season is out, and those are going to be big. I think we have 1 more series against Boston, and then also Tampa. So it's like these things, we have to, you have to pay attention because these series are going to be big, and the way that the division is shaping out, how tight the race is, some of these series are going to decide it.
Yep. Yeah.
Luckily, I think this season we have a winning. Do we have a winning record against Tampa?
I'm not sure about that.
I'm not sure. No, I don't know because I don't
feel like we do.
We got swept by them. We got swept by them at home once. So I could be crazy.
And the Yankees, now that I look, so I'll throw this out there real quick so everybody can hear. I mean, September, look at this, guys. We have I guess this is a continuing series from August, but we got 1 game against the Angels, got 3 against the Orioles, 4 against the Blue Jays. Those are at home. We got 3 at the Mets, 3 at the Orioles. Then we got 3 at Yankee Stadium against the Indians. Then we got 3 against Texas at Yankee Stadium. Then we go on the road back to Boston. Then we got 3 against the Blue Jays again. So 7 games overall against the Blue Jays. Then we finish at Yankee Stadium with 3 games versus the Rays. So that's not a bad schedule for this club to make a really strong run at the division. I don't have I don't have the Rays up here to see what theirs look like, but we don't have a bad schedule to finish this thing out.
No, their schedule is a little bit tougher than ours. As is Boston's. I mean, yeah, as you go through that, I'm telling I'm looking at the schedule. The ones that are important to me is like, look, the Braves are really hot right now. We have them coming in after the Twins. That's a 2-game series. If we split that, we're fine. Oakland has been struggling as of late, but that's a 4-game set in Oakland. That's pretty big to me. I think we're gonna have to at least split that one. But if we're playing the way that we've been playing, I feel like we walk out of there with 3 out of the 4.
Definitely.
Then we're going to LA to face the Angels. We know what the Angels are. That's a 3-game series. Not too worried about that. Not too worried about Baltimore coming here to Yankee Stadium. That 4-game set against the Blue Jays, that's a big one. That's a big one because the Blue Jays have been as hot as we are, and they've been right behind us. So if we're not careful, that 4-game set, they could really like gain some ground or jump us, if anything. So I think we gotta split or try to just take advantage and get the 3 out of 4 there. The Mets series, I hope we sweep the Mets just because of how the Mets did us when they first came at the beginning of the year. Cleveland, then Cleveland, Texas. This is what you're saying. Like there's a few series here where it's like
very winnable, winnable.
Are super winnable and sweepable. We have sweepable series left on the docket. So
and we got to do that.
We got to take advantage.
Yeah, we got to do it if we want to win a division. And I know one way that we could definitely do that is by putting the best players in the lineup, and that is exactly what our man Luke Voigt.
We don't play Tampa again.
We play Tampa at the end of the year, the last 3 games.
Oh, Tampa's the October.
It falls into October. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
But
I can't believe. Look, that's a tough. That's going to be a very, very difficult stretch to like end the year. So
yeah,
I just hope we get to that.
They just got to play the best baseball. They got to play the best baseball.
Healthy, and we got to stay healthy.
Healthy and
3 against.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm saying they got to play it healthy, and it got to be managed properly. That's the big thing that I'm looking. It got to be managed properly. We can't have this. I got to rest up this guy today and
get this guy some work in.
Yeah.
No, you're
man,
right.
It can't be that. And I really hope Boone, who I forgot somebody tweeted something today and was like, Boone has done a really good job, but he did really good in the Red Sox series. Whoever was making the calls, it worked out this time. So I'm not gonna, I think Alex Cora actually managed a really bad game. I think he managed a really bad game.
I've been seeing like that be the narrative that Cora like was outmanaged by Boone, but I
wouldn't necessarily go that far.
Yeah,
I would say it didn't feel like Alex Cora's best game. That's all I'll say.
I feel like I don't feel like Cora was outmanaged by Boone. I think the teams were the deciding factor, and I just think the Yankees outplayed them. They just for once this season. We outplayed Boston 3 straight games. Like 3 straight games, we just outplayed them. We were staying in counts. We kept our heads in there. We showed up defensively. There were no, the stupid mental errors on the base pass, the errors on all that stuff was non-existent. This was happening, ad nauseum at the beginning of the year.
Right.
And this time it wasn't happening. And Cora made that mention. He's like, this is a different team. He said, this is a different team.
Yeah, he gave us our credit. He did. He passed the credit over.
They steal bases now. They work out. They hit for contact. It's a different team.
He said what we've been saying for a while, right? He was like, they're more athletic. They become more athletic. Like, exactly.
Exactly. Because Cora was one of the people who probably sat there at the beginning of the year looking at us like, this team's not going anywhere. Look at them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like just look at them. Like they're so unathletic. They're injury prone.
They're all right-handed.
They can't steal a base. They're all right-handed. So it's like I never have to think about going to somebody in the bullpen and what's going to happen because the left-handers that they can counter with are Brett Gardner and Tyler Wade. Like none of those guys scare me.
Yep.
Whereas in this series, what was the biggest difference to me? Well, the biggest difference to me was when he's going to the bullpen because he knows that Joey Gallo's coming.
Yeah, that's right. That was a big difference maker in that game.
And then we're able to pinch after he goes in to get the lefty. We're able to pinch hit Stanton as a righty because he went in to get a lefty for a power lefty that we had. Right? Cora's never had to do that playing the Yankees this year. I don't think he managed poorly in that situation. I just think his players weren't up to the challenge that this lineup finally can present that we couldn't present for years.
Yeah.
Which is after Aaron Judge or right before him, we have a power lefty.
And the good,
you're gonna have to bring somebody in for these
guys.
And
the thing about that is, like you said, because I can hear people right now be like, "Oh, we had left-handers before. We didn't have Joey Gallo before. We didn't have Anthony Rizzo before." Because whatever you analytic cats want to talk about Aaron Hicks, he's not Gallo or Rizzo. Nowhere near it. He doesn't strike fear in a pitcher. Pitchers don't see him and go, "Oh shit!" Like, damn, this might be a real tough at bat. I don't think they get that feeling with a guy like Aaron Hicks. With a guy like, I see so many people, knock on Gallo. I even seen somebody say the other day, and I was gonna retweet it and write about it. I was like, yeah, this is just gonna be a back and forth with an idiot. To be honest, I'm not gonna go there. He basically sat there and said, well, the Yankees didn't trade for this guy to walk. Oh yeah, they did. Yes, they did. Because that's one of the huge parts of Gallo's game. Yes, they did trade for him because he walks. He gets on base a ton. And
everybody's saying that.
Well, he just passes it over to Stanton. Yes, exactly. That's part of the game.
He passes it over to Stanton with a runner on base.
Go watch the 09 DVD. Go watch the old Yankees. That's what they used to do, and that could still work in today's game.
Mm-hmm.
I see so many people go, "Oh, that doesn't work no more," because guess what? Everybody out of a pen is throwing 98, but everybody out of a pen isn't throwing 98 with command. It's a little different. I want to get to those guys as early as possible. The hell with the starter, get them out of the game because, look, when you got a series, that's what you want. Get those starters out, get the guys in, and, maybe you get repetitive looks at those guys in the 3-game series, 4-game series, whatever it is. It works. Seeing pitches works.
It's never going to get old. Seeing pitches will never get old.
No way.
Running up, even the most elite pitchers in the game, like the Yankees could go. I'm trying to figure out like who is the guy in the AL in the playoffs that like actually would scare me going up against him pitching wise. I don't know because I think the Yankees have shown that they can hit the best pitching that's out there. They do it. They show up. Even this season, they show up. We beat Shane Bieber when we played him. We beat Lance Lynn. They ran up Giolito's count, got him out of there. Like, you know what I'm saying? We beat the elite Ohtani. We embarrassed Ohtani.
We destroyed Ohtani.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So the Yankees can hit these guys, but I think aside from that, we know how to run up their pitch count so that even if we're not hitting them, we do get them out in the 6th inning. And we have 3 innings to make something happen. 3 or 4 innings to get something to happen. And that's important. And I think what I was saying before is like, not that, we just have a lefty now, right? But I kept saying power lefty for a reason, because that's what's going to make Alex Cora go to the pen and bring somebody in just for this one guy. Right. Because at the end of the game, when you're looking to your bullpen, the last thing that you want, the one thing that you can't have is a home run.
That's right.
It's a home run. This is the most important number for back-end bullpen guys are home runs allowed. It's the most important number. It's that with WHIP, walks and hits per inning. Those to me are like the most important things, right? Mm-hmm. I don't care if you're striking out everybody you see, whatever, because Clay Holmes doesn't really strike out people, but he keeps that ball on the ground, and that's why I love him.
I love it
because he keeps the ball.
We talked about that before in the playoffs. That's so damn important to have somebody like that.
Exactly. So that's why, like, when I see today, like, like Chad Green giving up the home run, my eyes will widen and get open up more. Why? Because it's like, we had 3-run lead today, but in a closer game, we can't have him giving up a home run.
Facts.
Like, that's the one thing we like when Britain gave it up in the Field of Dreams game. It was like,
Field of Broken Dreams.
It was like, damn, bro. Like, you see, that's the one thing that we can't have. We can't. If he gave up a double to Tim Anderson there, it's bad, but it's like we live to see another batter. But the home run late innings, it's normally nails in the coffin. You can't have that, and that's why. When you have a lineup that goes righty, power lefty, power right, and a manager has to go and bring in one guy for one guy, but knowing that guy he's bringing in is going to have to get through 2 other batters after, it really changes up the way managers can approach you. And now managers have to think twice when they're game planning for the Yankees. Yep. And they didn't even have to think about it before. It
was easy. Deal. They knew what they were getting. They knew what was coming in and what they were getting. And then,
even
at the end of the
Judge,
day,
Stanton and Voigt back to back, it's still 3 right-handed power guys.
Right. And again, when you got like I said before, when you got your righties that throw very hard, that's hard. That's a little more difficult. That makes the game a little harder to navigate. Even if you're walking those guys, you're limiting what they can do potentially late in games, early, anytime during the game. Because like you said, nothing really changes. So you didn't have to come in there with some rare strategy of, well, who's the best left-hander that we had that could also get out righties in a big situation? You didn't have to think about that before. That wasn't part of your game planning when the Yankees came to town or you went to go see the Yankees. That wasn't part of it. So speaking of big names in the Yankees lineup, the drama surrounding little things that Luke Voigt said, I'm going to read it off to you real quick, and then we got to discuss this because Anyway, let me just go ahead and read it. This is Luke Voigt. This is a quote for him. I was top 10 in the MVP voting last year, and I've been a great player for this organization for the last 3 years. I'm not going down. I want to play. Obviously, I know it's going to be tougher with Rizzo, but I deserve to play just as much as he does. Francis, when I saw this, okay, I saw no problem at all. I didn't hear a problem. I didn't think of anything. I didn't even think this would blow up. I thought everybody would just applaud him and be like, damn, yeah, that's the Luke that we know. That's the guy who just tells the truth. That's the guy who wants to get on the field and play baseball no matter what. Yankee fans and even media heads, they were begging for this to become a headline. Kim Jones went as far as saying he's a clubhouse cancer. Is this not, I mean, to me, I'm just keeping it real with you. I think Kim Jones was just seeking some attention, to be honest, because that's just ridiculous. But anyway, I see this. Clout chasing. I even tried to find an issue with what he said, to be like, where could this be maybe perceived wrong? And I'm like, what did you want the dude to say? Oh yeah, Rizzo's here. They can leave me on the bench. I'll play every 2 days. That's not an issue. He has legitimate beef here. And I think beef is even a wrong word to use. He has a legitimate gripe here where he can literally sit back and be like, everything I'm saying is true. Can't say I'm wrong. I know it's going to be tougher with Rizzo here, but I deserve to play as much as he does. Now, what he should have said is, like I said, I was joking around about it, but if you wanted to have a beef, he could have said, Big G over there who got abs from head to toe need to get his ass in the outfield so I can play and make this team better. I mean, that's kind of, and that's what we're seeing today is that, Stanton is in the outfield and Voigt is DHing. Did you find any issue? Anything whatsoever? Could you nitpick something?
To me, it's very simple, right? I looked at the statement and I was like, okay, let me find where he's lying. I was top 10 MVP a year. That's a fact. I've been a great player for this team. That's also a fact. I'm not going down. I deserve to play. Yeah, he does deserve to play. I don't see where he lied. I don't see where he was untruthful. So I'm like, okay. So then what's the gripe here? Like, that he's saying that he wants to play, that he wants to be in the lineup, even with Rizzo coming back. So I was like, I don't see what the point is. I don't see what people are saying. Like, people don't have a leg to stand on. They're just looking for something to create. And I think more than anything, people wanted to create some kind of rift in our clubhouse because, listen, let's not kid ourselves here, people. I say it all the time, and I'll continue saying it because it's the truth. Everybody hates the Yankees.
Yep.
Everybody hates the Yankees.
Oh, it's headlines.
Half the people who cover the Yankees hate the Yankees.
Facts.
Okay, trust and believe. They are not fans of this team. They like live for the day that like we're on our last breath, about to get that last out and get eliminated from the play. They love it. So they will look the way that we've been playing, the way that things are finally clicking or whatever. The media is definitely. They got to find something. Yeah, they're looking for.
I was
something.
just gonna say that they're playing so good right now. It's exactly. Like you gotta try to find another drama story to run with.
So they said, "Oh, let's take this and let's maybe create a narrative in the clubhouse or whatever." Which I think purposely today, right after Voigt gets benched in the last game against the Red Sox for Rizzo to play first base.
Yeah.
Today they get him back into the lineup, and the whole game in the dugout, Rizzo and Voigt were standing next to each other, chopping it up, talking all game. I think just to expel whatever BS was being poured out there by the media. I don't think anything he said was wrong, but I did hear something today on the radio, and I did understand where one person was coming from, and it was LaGreca. Like I said, I don't always agree with him, but he was like, my whole thing with what Voigt said is, doesn't it kind of come off a little bit like a me guy and not a team guy? And I didn't think about it that way. When I first heard it, I didn't think about it that way. Why? Because in my mind, Luke Voigt is a team guy. He's always been a team guy. And everything is about the team. And he's honest and he calls it like he sees it and whatever. Yep. And that's it. But when he said that today, it's like, I'm like, do you like if I put myself in his shoes and think about it that way, it's like, okay. But well, my issue is most of the people in the media, nobody was saying that he should be whatever, he should be suspended, whatever, because he's not a team guy. They were saying like his comments were like some like selfish or whatever. Like I don't know what it was, but it was just like it wasn't like that. And it's like, yeah, even with that, like I could see where people are coming from. Like that doesn't necessarily come off as a team guy statement, but rest assured, like we've been watching Luke Voigt since he's got here. I consider both of us pretty knowledgeable about this team. If we're saying that Voigt is a team guy, it's because we've seen it, and I don't think his comments a couple of days ago changed that for me. He would have to do something really drastic for me to stop believing in him as a team guy.
Yeah, and here's my rebuttal to that one. In a way, you can also make I know he said me, and he kind of like, I need to be in the lineup. You can make the easy rebuttal here to say, well, are they not a better team with him in the lineup than on the bench?
I don't think there's no argument to be made from people saying, oh, because we already have Rizzo, so like, what's the point? It's like, timeout. Like, Voigt did not come out and say, I should be playing first base over Anthony Rizzo.
Correct. That would have been an asshole move. That would have been an asshole move.
Aside from it,
and it's stupid.
Aside from it being an asshole move, it's just egregious.
Yeah,
he knows that. On all counts, like there's no way in the bluest of hells you should be playing first base over Anthony Rizzo. The guy's a freaking angel. Okay,
right.
He's a first base angel. Okay,
yeah.
He scoops everything.
He saves everything.
He just belongs there.
Right.
He was probably born. He probably came out of the womb
with a first baseman
with a chicken parm and a first baseman's glove.
No. Hold on a second. The chicken parm was in the first base glove.
It was in the first. Because he scooped it on the way out. That's what.
Right.
Like Anthony Rizzo is the first baseman, and we already said it a million times. Like, if the Yankees don't re-sign him, I'm gonna be very distraught. Like, because he's so freaking good,
so too good,
and good. He makes the defense so much freaking better. And I just like
levels,
him there.
Levels.
I like him there. It's not even close with him there.
It's levels, fam. It's levels.
But if you listen to Voigt's comments, I think he specifically made a point to not say I should be playing first base over. He said I should be in the lineup, and I know that that's gonna be harder with Rizzo and whatever. But I should play also. Yeah, he should definitely play. He should definitely get at bats as the DH. Put Stanton in the outfield, put Rizzo at first base, and let Voigt DH. And let Voigt DH.
And that's what he said. He said, I'm not going down. Now, you could take that a couple of ways. I'm not going to play in AAA. I shouldn't do that. I want to play. Obviously, I know it's going to be tougher with Rizzo. He's admitting the fact that I'm not playing first base. I understand that. That's basically, listen to what he said. Obviously, I know it's going to be tougher with Rizzo, meaning I understand first base is likely not an option every day. I understand that. That's obvious. But I deserve to play. And David Cohn brought up a good point not that long ago. I forgot when it was, but he mentioned too that with the injuries, with everything else, people forget who Luke Voigt is. People forget how good Luke Voigt is. Now, however you want to see the COVID year, see it how you want, but Luke Voigt led the league in homers.
Somebody had to lead the league in all those.
And it was Luke.
Okay,
he was the Yankees' offense last year. He was their offense.
Somebody had to do it because if it was Shohei Ohtani, every chance they get, they would have told us, yeah, we have a guy who's pitching this year who led the league in home runs last year or whatever. So I don't want to hear that it doesn't matter. No, it matters.
Right, it matters.
Somebody had to be in the lead. Luke Voigt was that guy. He was in the lead. Just like Jose Abreu's MVP counts. He was the MVP. It was 60 games. I don't give a shit. He was the MVP of those 60 games.
Yep.
It is what it is. And, he's right. That's basically that's why I started off my response to his comments with saying, like, I can't find the lie in what he was saying.
There's none.
Like, I don't see the lie. I mean, him saying I deserve to play as much as as Rizzo, I don't think it's I deserve to play first base as much as Rizzo.
No, he says it. Obviously, I'm not.
I think it's very clear in his mind that he doesn't deserve to play first base as much as Rizzo does. I think he's saying I deserve, when it comes to the lineup, I deserve to be in there as much as Rizzo does. I could understand that.
I think it's more. I think if you want to find it being a shot at somebody, I feel like it's more of a shot at Stanton than anybody, and he never says that, so I don't think you can't read it that way. But he says obviously it's gonna be tougher with Rizzo, meaning first base is taken. I get that, but I should be more in the lineup. The only way for him to be more in the lineup is if Stanton's in the outfield. It's almost like I'm trying to a manager. You fix the lineup card the way it should be. I'm in the lineup, so there is no issue, and that does give us our best club and our best chance to win. Simple as that. That's the way I see it.
Honestly, it's to me, it's like I said before, it's a no-brainer. I think the best version of this team will be the version where Voigt is in there as a DH and Stanton is playing the outfield. Not just to get Voigt's bat in the lineup, but also because Giancarlo's bat, for whatever reason, just plays so much better
So much better.
when he's playing defense.
So much better.
And we called that shit
Back.
I think
after
after the deadline, when they started saying that they were going to start to put him in the outfield or whatever, I remember saying like, yeah, I'm expecting that this could probably do something for him.
Yeah, because I know
he wants to be out there.
RB mentioned that he was concerned that could have been the reason why he gets injuries often, is because he's not moving as much and not running in the outfield and doing things like that. Even though they say Stanton, gets on the treadmill and stuff like that.
He said he goes down and runs on the treadmill.
It's a different.
But to me,
it's a different routine. He had to change his entire routine to be a full-time DH. We admit that, right? He's done that. So going back to what he's used to, I think is gonna liven him up a little bit.
Look, I'm telling you right now, he looked good. He's looked good in the field.
He hit rockets today, including the homer.
So far in the games that he's played, he's looked good in the field. He's still got a strong arm. He moves well out there, and more than anything, morale. He's happy to be out there.
No doubt about it.
He's happy.
No
when
doubt
you put him
about it.
out there, he's happy to be out there. He feels like one of the freaking guys.
He's
looking at Judge. He's looking at Gallo.
Facts.
He's looking at Riz. These guys are out there.
I would always want to know.
From the dugout.
There's one thing I really would always want to know, and I know a lot of fans sent this to me and asked me if I could find this out. I haven't been able to yet. Whose call has it been more? Because we have seen Stanton on record saying, no, I want to be in the outfield.
Yeah.
Is there an injury again that we have yet to be told? We've never been told of an injury. He doesn't run normal. We know that. When he hits a ground ball, either they're telling him, not to hustle, which I can't believe that. I think he's hampering something. But he hasn't looked good out there, running at least.
It depends, though. Because if he hits a ball, if he hits a gapper, then you'll see him all of a sudden. He knows how to run, and he runs well. But if he grounds out a ball to shortstop, that's where he does that weird run.
Yeah, but see, here's my issue with that, though. Then why hasn't he been in the outfield? If he can actually run, is it the injury bug where they're like, maybe if you just bat, we're paying you a lot of money, we need you in field.
That's what I've been.
If that's the case, then man, that's I'll be honest. That's fucked up.
That's what I've always thought.
And two, he has to have more power than that, getting the money he gets. He got to be able to speak up a little bit. Like, look, no, I need to be in the outfield. Simple as that. That's my preference. I need to get with that.
I think honestly, it's the fact that they traded for him. His contract is huge. They're paying him a lot of money, and they know that
decision.
He's a bit injury prone, and so it's a business decision. And honestly, going back to what Ozzie Jr. told us about Giancarlo. Yeah, I think if they make that business decision, even if he's in a disagreement with it, I think he probably voiced it, once or twice, but they still went the direction that they went, and he probably is like, all right, well, that's it. Like, now I just have to sit here taking, all this chastisement from the fans and everybody else saying that I should be out there, that why do I have all these muscles if I'm just gonna whatever, even though it's not even my decision, and I'm not gonna say anything publicly because that's not the type of guy that I am, but it's really fucked up. So that's why now that he's out there in the field, I feel like you literally look at him and you can see he's lighter on his feet. He's smiling. He's whatever. Because it's like, bro, I think he's wanted to be out there all this time. That's what I said at the deadline when we did the deadline special.
Yep.
I said, I feel like he's wanted to be out there all this time. And it's been us, the organization, holding him back.
Yeah.
And now, because it's just like with this season, this season has quickly become the fuck it season, because of the way we started the year. It just got to a point where it was just like, we just fuck it. We got to try this. We got to try that. Let's go get Gallo. Rizzo, let's get him to. We were even trying to get Javi Baez. Whatever.
If everybody paying their salaries, bring him on board. We cool with it.
You know what I mean? So it's literally become that season, and I think that's why we got to the point where it's like, hey, let's freaking see. Let's put Stanton out. Let's see. And we'll see how it pans out. The way this season ends or whatever down the stretch. But so far so good. I like Stanton out there.
And you know what they say?
I think he likes to be there.
And you know what they say? Stanton in the outfield is kind of like Ohtani coming to bat. You got to be very, very careful.
I'm so mad I didn't see that coming.
Bingo! I had to get it in there, fam. I had to. No, we're not gonna go down a hole of talking about that. That's the way we're coming to the final comments of the show. Is finishing with that. Yeah, whatever. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. I understand why, people could have been upset about it. And by all means, folks, we do this shit all the time on here. I ain't knocking an Asian accent.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I played it. My son, we were both cracking up. I thought it was hilarious. It was like stupid, but you're like,
yeah,
okay, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
I ain't labeling Jack Morris a racist because of it, but it is what it is.
I'll tell you that I agree. I agree with you. I don't believe he's a racist because of the accent. I don't believe that people who do accents are racist.
Definitely not.
I think when Dave Chappelle did the skit about, what if I woke up one day and said, I'm Chinese? And he did the accent. I mean, it was hilarious.
It's
and
funny.
I loved it. I thought it was real funny. And I didn't label him a racist.
No, it's like I said to you, too.
I understood the joke.
Right. It's like I said to you, too. The stereotype of an Italian. I remember there was an SNL skit where the guy's like an undercover cop. And all he says is, oh, forget about it. Oh. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's comical to me. I never see that and be like, oh, dude hates white people. He hates Italians, doesn't he, man? Like, how could he do that? No,
when people do the Spanish accents all the time, my father has a deep Spanish accent. He's been in this country for years. He still has the accent, right? Because he's from the Dominican, right? And so, like, when people do those accents, like the Caribbean, like Puerto Rican, Dominican,
I do it all
Cuban,
time.
Or whatever, like, I don't take offense to
okay,
that.
so
like,
look, so
my father doesn't take offense to that.
Well, when you used to watch me and Ryan, you didn't care about the Starlin Castro.
I was one of the people asking for the Starlin Castro.
Right.
I used to be asking him to do it. I'd be like, can he do it? Can you? Hey, please, Ryan, can you do it? Like, why? Because it's funny, and it was the context for it. Like, it's a podcast. We're joking.
Correct.
Dave Chappelle did it in a comedy special. We're joking. I think the issue here with Jack Morris was he did it in a broadcast, and I was like, when I saw that, I was like, yeah, that's kind of dumb. Like, you should have known. You should have known better. Because the problem. You know what? It's Major League Baseball.
Correct. And you're working for a corporation.
Exactly. And you know what the temperature is outside now.
Yep.
And you know that they're gonna come for you. The mob is.
And he's the golden child right now too. And Ohtani's the golden child right now. You really can't say much about him.
You can't say nothing about him.
There was a tweet. Oh my God! I was about to tell you. That's exactly what I was going to say.
If you say Ohtani's name 3 times, Jeff Passan just appears out of nowhere. He's like, sorry. What do you need? What do you need? What do you want?
What about Shohei?
Yes, he hit his 40th and his ERA is under 3.
Boing. Is it showtime? Is it showtime?
It's nuts.
He wrote a tweet recently about. I'm like, man, this dude he's in love. He was not even Babe Ruth could do this. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. He's like Babe Ruth did not do this. He made a point to say because Jeff Passan hates the Yankees now. But like, I'm so over Jeff Passan.
Hey,
because
Jeff
I think
Passan.
he's showing his hand.
Jeff Passan, can I ask you a question, my friend? How many top prospects do the Yankees have in the top 20? Because they can't get the money.
Let's talk about it.
Anthony Volpe, my man, is now the number 1 Yankee prospect ahead of Jason Dominguez. That's how good Volpe is. So
he's number 15 in all of baseball.
And I think Dominguez is 17, right?
17 in all of baseball.
Yeah, there was some problems I had with MLB.com's new Yankee top 30 prospect. I should have thought about that before to throw it on here, but just off the top of my head, Ken Waldichuk is a bit too high. I think he got like number 9.
Ken Waldichuk is top 10 now.
Ken Waldichuk is top 10, which is good. He's good, don't get me wrong. I don't think he's going to be a long-term starter. I don't think he's that good. I don't think he's at that level where one of the best starting pitching prospects in the organization.
I think Heel went up too.
Heel went up. I think he's like number 4 now. I think the top,
but he should. Though,
oh, no doubt about it.
What he's done so far here.
The top 4 I know is Volpe, Dominguez, Peraza, and then Heel. So that I have no issue with that at all. That's perfect. I think all 4 of those guys could be the future of this club. That could be a next, crop of really good talent. They dropped Estevan Florial a lot. He dropped like 10 points down to like 21.
I don't understand.
I don't agree with that.
They're probably just going by like his AAA numbers and
maybe
not factoring in what he did when he was up here with the
maybe it's that. There was a few other ones I saw in there too. Oh yeah, Antonio Gomez is ranked like 25, and I'm like, this dude is like 19 or 18 or 19, tearing the cover off of the ball. Great defense already as a catcher. I'm like, no, Antonio Gomez is top 10. He got to be top 10, top 15, the least.
That's like the MLB stuff. It's like, do I really like I don't know.
You're probably right. They probably
To
just
me-
just see it and that's
They
it.
just go off of whatever they like the numbers there.
Well,
in
even too,
AAA, and they're not-
Sweeney's not off to a good start, and they got him number 7 because he was the first round pick. And even Brandon Beck hasn't even thrown a pitch, and I think he's like number 12 or 14.
which is a joke. Which is why it's what I'm saying. Like I don't really trust the MLB ranking. Fangraphs is the one that's been the most accurate to me. In the recent years. So, especially if you look at what Fangraphs did this year, like how they kept updating it, and as they updated it, the Yankee system got better and better.
Right.
And then we started to see some of those guys come up, and we started to see why our system got better and better.
Yep.
Because the players actually did get better and actually are really freaking good. So Fangraphs, yeah, I trust. I'm not going with this ranking that came out. It's a little bit fugazi, if you ask me. But
I'm there with you.
Like I gotta see like Beck hasn't thrown. I gotta see him throw something. Like I'm
I can
excited.
understand. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I could understand why he would be a top 30. He should be. No doubt about it.
Because another thing too, like he was a first round pick, but he's also not a baby. He's
Right.
not a baby. He's older as a draft pick. So he's actually like with the way his stuff is at this point and his age, he's actually not far away from the major leagues.
No, not at all.
If everything goes the way it's supposed
He could fly right through.
but he still has to throw a pitch. Like,
Yeah. And that's why I said I can understand why he's there, but to be ahead of some guys that are not on there, I'm like, that's a little off to me. That's a little off to me. But matter of fact, before we go, let's actually just take a look at that real quickly, because I know there was a few different things that I saw on there that I was like, let me take a look and let's see if this is the updated one. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna run down it real quick and I'll tell you definitely what I agree and what I don't agree with. Anthony Volpe, this is in order. Anthony Volpe, Jason Dominguez, Oswald Peraza, Luis Gil, Clark Schmidt. I agree with all that. I have no issue there whatsoever. I 100% agree with the top 5. 6 through 10, Austin Wells, I agree with. Trey Sweeney, I believe the next guy should be higher than him, but I'm okay with that. 8, Luis Medina. I think Medina should be number 7. Flip those two around. Ken Waldichuk, I just don't agree with. I don't agree with that one. I don't think he should be that high.
Not yet.
Gomez, he's a good prospect. Also don't think he should be that high. Davy Garcia, ranked 11. That I agree with. I think he could be ranked even lower, to be fair. Alexander Vargas is a really good shortstop. I don't know if anybody knows much about Alexander Vargas, but he is a switch-hitting shortstop. The kid is legit. I mean, really, really friggin' good. This is another guy you'll be talking about for years to come with the Yankees. Everson Pieta, I think he deserves to be there. And then there's Brandon Beck. Yes, he's listed as number 14. Brock Selvage is listed as number 17, hasn't thrown a pitch yet. Josh Bro, who actually talked to our friend about Josh Bro, and that friend being Eli Fishman. Bro is having a great offensive year for a catcher, hitting a lot of homers, doing well. I asked Fishman a little more about his defense, and he said the best he'll probably be defensively is Gary Sanchez. Defensively, that's probably the best he'll be, which is good, which isn't, average. To some things are above average, throwing arms above average. But Eli said that might be his high, so he's probably going to still fit in a little below that. But again, just going over everything else, there's no real surprises there if you ask me. I think Ryder Green is a bit low. He's having a very good season. And again, Antonio Gomez at 25 and Estevan Florial at 21 is stupid. Beck Way is another starting pitcher who's ranked 22, who I think could be actually higher because he's having such a good year. So, again, that's MLB. I know fans are very excited about the Yankees prospect pool. Jeff Passan isn't. He doesn't think they're good enough. He said when you look at them, you got to be very, very careful. But it is what it is. That's all I got for you guys today.
I think it's I piggybacking off that, and this will be my last thing too. I think something to note, very interesting. In our division, right? This is something to look at, in the coming years. In our division, we don't have too much to worry about in terms of like the upcoming top guys, right? Which in the last 5 years, like we had a lot of things that we were not afraid of, but had to be on our radar, right? Because we knew that the Blue Jays had all these guys. We knew that, the Orioles had their guys. Boston had some guys, and Tampa had the number 1 guy in all of baseball, right? Now that Wander Franco is up, he's already here. He's with them, right? Boston called up Duran. He's with them, right? The Blue Jays been called up Bo Bichette, Cavan, Biggio, and Vladdy Jr. They're already here at the major league level, right? At this point, in terms of top 100 guys, Baltimore's got 2 guys in the top 10, right? We could potentially see Adley Rutschman soon.
Guy's a beast.
But whether we do or don't, like, he's one guy. I don't think he's going to turn
it's not enough.
Orioles around.
No.
Even if and Grayson Rodriguez,
is
the pitcher that they have who's in the top 10, who's also pretty decent, but we don't like, he's a pitcher. So again, he could come up and kill, but there's also going to be growing pains there. It's not going to like upend, like change their whole, fate. Outside of that, there's nobody else in our division that has guys there. You have the Red Sox. They have Marcelo Mayer, who's the shortstop.
Right.
They've got Xander Bogaerts there. So we don't know what's going to happen there. And then after that, the next guy that's in our division, that's number 15, is Volpe, and he's ours.
Right.
And then after that is Dominguez, and he's ours also.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like the team in our division, the 2 teams in our division who have the best talent that's close is Baltimore and then us.
Yep.
Baltimore is shit right now.
I would say
we're contending, and we have this amount of talent.
The Blue Jays are the only one, because they got Pearson too, who's a top starting pitching prospect who's not far away. I think I feel like he's already pitched at the major league level at some point. I thought he has. So he's already kind of knocking on the door. And then they got a few guys. Some of them are still a couple of years away. But as you talk about making impact over the next couple of years, yeah, it's got to be the Yankees. I mean, look at the crop. I mean, you already see Luis Gil. You got Anthony Volpe, who, shit, I got people even telling me now, this kid could compete at AA already. I mean, you got Oswald Peraza, who's next year. I mean, you got Anthony Volpe, who could be next year. People keep saying, I don't know about that. Why?
They got Pearson ranked number 44 in the MLB. Yeah.
So, I mean, the whole thing, I got a lot of people telling me that all the time. Well, no, you're probably looking at 2023. Yeah, potentially. But if Volpe comes back next year, let's say he starts in AA. They might start him in AA. If he does, and he does the same shit he's doing this year, I don't know. Anthony Volpe could be really close. And, we got the Heels, we got the Medinas, we got those guys that are not Clark Schmidt, who, if you guys heard the interview today with Hubs, he's extremely high on him. And I've told you guys that up for a while. The Yankees really believe he is one of their best pitching prospects, and he's going to be a starting pitcher. And they think he's going to be really good.
He has the stuff. It's the injuries have derailed a little bit, but like we have to be patient and give him his fair shot. I'm of the belief that Schmidt deserves his fair shake. And if anything,
he hasn't got that yet too, by the way. Because his first time he got called up, they put him in a horrible position to make a debut.
Listen, look at how Luis Gil was called up to start the way he was called.
Proper.
That's how you do it.
Proper.
We knew as a fan base for a few days before that Luis Gil was going to take that start.
It was
right?
proper. Yep. Proper.
He got called up. He got able to call his family. Got able to have his people there in the stands. He was able to get with the team early, rest, do everything, come up, and it's paid dividends. Okay, the kid has been lights out since he's gotten called up. Like whatever. I'm not saying that's everything, but that's a big part of it. All right, and I think Schmidt didn't get that fair shake. And if anything, anything we learned from Gil is that look, you got to give these kids a shot the right way. And I think if we, looking at how good Gil has been, it's like, let's give credit to the people working in our minor leagues and what they're doing with the pitching down there, because we've got a lot of talented arms coming up.
A lot.
We've got a lot of talented arms coming up. A lot.
Talent everywhere, man. Talent everywhere.
It's not just your Heels. It's not just your writings and the guys that you've seen this year. Like, we still haven't seen Medina at this level. We still haven't really seen Clark Schmidt. And we don't know if Davy Garcia is going to just find it next year and then the back. We don't know.
Or like we said before, I mean, his ultimate position, a lot of people believe, including myself, and I had that out there a lot of times, is a relief pitcher. And hell, that'll be great. What if he could rear back and hit 96, 97 as an RP with that big curveball? Let's do it.
It's not like we can't use it.
Of course, exactly. It's
like
all value. It's all value. All of that is value. So
we just gotta take it. Take it one day at a time with these guys. They're young. Give them a shot. What
I could say, Francis, about this interview, right? I mean, not this interview. This whole podcast today, man, is it's like a breath of fresh air, right? We're just talking about so many damn positives. I don't want to see the negatives at all. We're winning. Winning is nice. Winning is nice. No matter what level of winning it is, everybody wants to win. No matter what you say, no matter if you take losing kindly or not kindly, you're happier when you're winning. And this ball club is winning, man. So it's a beautiful time to be a Yankee fan. And just some news going forward for you guys. One more friendly reminder. There will not be a podcast next week. So I just want you guys to know Simonetti has had a long year, and I'm finally getting a nice vacation. So, yes,
he deserves it. He deserves it, people.
Man. I do. Oh, by the way, guys, I got to throw this out there, too, because it just popped in my mind. Pops wanted me to tell you guys he's very thankful for all the prayers that everybody put out there for him. He's recovering. I do got to say a little joke about him, which I think is hilarious. If you guys have been in the hospital for multiple days, right, you know saline water is no joke. When you got saline water hooked in you in an IV for multiple days, a lot could happen. You could get swollen in certain areas. It adds a lot of weight because it's that pure that liquid that goes in you like that. Yep. So he got out, and man, he was concerned because his legs were swollen and he gained 10 pounds. I'm like, I had to tell him, I said, Pops, it's the saline water. It's nothing else, baby. Take it easy. You're going to give yourself a heart attack now. Calm down. Relax a little. So today, right, he calls me up. Yeah, today's going to feel pretty good. I lost 3 pounds. I said, it's the saline water. You ain't dropping weight like that. Take it easy. But no, man, he's a funny guy. He's happy. I know he was extremely excited. He was messaging me about the Yankees yesterday and all that. So yeah, just to everybody. He's very, very thankful. When I showed him the tweet that got all those retweets and all those likes and all those comments, he was kind of blown away by it. So yeah, I thank you guys for doing that for Pop Simonetti. I really appreciate it.
Of course, yeah, man. Like, as soon as you sent that to the group chat, I was just like, damn, man, like the whole NYY news team got to come together for Pop Simonetti because he's like our biggest supporter.
Yeah, he is, man.
He's like a de facto member of the team.
Yeah,
like, so, I mean,
yeah, and it's hard. He's been tough to get in an interview because I've been telling like, Pops, let's get you on for an interview. He's been a tough interviewer. He's hard. He's like, yeah, we'll see. It's like, are you testing us first? Like, are you seeing if we ready for such a monumental thing?
See,
like, what are you doing?
He's like, I gotta check. He has to vet us. He has to make sure that we're the right guys.
That's exactly what it is.
To dedicate his time to. I don't think Pop Simonetti doesn't rub me as the kind of guy that likes to waste his time.
No, he's not a big time waster. He's not a big time waster. So
I completely understand that because when you got things to do, you got things to do, and time is money.
Time is money. Time is money. I might have to get him some Dominican cigars. That'll make him happy. Maybe that'll be the way to get in to get the interview completed.
I don't know if he likes to drink, but in the duty free on your way back,
that's it.
You get him a couple nice things.
Of course, there's many there. But guys, again, next week there will not be a podcast. But again, you guys know, once we back in the swing of things, it is what it is. As Francis likes to say, I don't want to take his tagline, so I'm gonna let him say it.
Our next episode is the best episode.
That is always factual, folks, and you guys know it. You guys definitely know, but we are working on some big things. So I'll throw a little spoiler out there. I'm not gonna say nothing yet, but we are working. There's some big things in the pipeline that we're working on that we're gonna get to, and they're gonna happen. So when we're ready to tell you guys about that, we will. But anyways, you guys know I like to say, have a good night. Enjoy it. We'll see you guys in about 2 weeks from now. Have a wonderful time, guys. Now do me a favor and get out of here. Talk to you guys soon.
Tell me what you want.